Welcome to Melbourne and the men's final at the 2026 Australian Open. With 16 years between Novak Djokovic and Carlos Alcaraz, age-defying history is on the line.
Djokovic hits the forehand, Medvedev slaps the forehand into the net, and no one now in history has more Grand Slam singles titles than Novak Djokovic. He has equalled Margaret Court's record of 24.
I do feel that Novak has one more Grand Slam in his body.
If it is to be Grand Slam 25, it has to happen here.
I see there's a lot of experts all of a sudden that wanted to retire me or have retired me many times the last couple of years.
Sinner with a backhand into the net, and after 4 hours and 5 minutes, match points for Novak Djokovic.
I want to thank them all because they gave me strength, they gave me motivation to prove them wrong.
Sinner is wide, and 38-year-old Novak Djokovic is still on course for a 25th Grand Slam title.
For me, it's not a surprise, I know what I'm capable of.
Alcaraz serves onto the backhand and falls flat on his back. He is the US Open champion.
And it's Carlos Alcaraz rolling around on the centre court grass as a Wimbledon champion.
Obviously, complete the career Grand Slam is something amazing to do.
And the man who is barely 21 is now a Grand Slam champion on a hard court, a grass court and a clay court. Alcaraz, champion in Paris for the first time.
To be the youngest is even better.
Break points, Zverev. It's a double fault from Alcaraz, and that really does spell trouble.
None of us really know what's quite going on with his body.
Zverev clearly now must be the favourite, but then it's Alcaraz on the other side of the net.
I just hate giving up.
It's over the baseline. Alcaraz breaks back.
1 second more of suffering, 1 second more of fighting, it was worth it.
And the volley from Zverev is into the net. Alcaraz collapses on his back. And for the first time in his career, he is an Australian Open finalist.
Welcome to Melbourne as we just see two-time Australian Open champion Rafa Nadal take his seat inside the Rod Laver Arena. I cannot tell you the excitement, not just in this commentary box, but within Melbourne Park. The fans have been arriving earlier today. The scene is set. We're just seeing backstage pictures of Novak Djokovic doing his warm-up, little shuttle runs side to side. Carlos Alcaraz with the headphones on, making his way into the corridor, and we are minutes away from their walk to the centre court, the Rod Laver Arena, and the final match of the Australian Open 2026. Alongside me in the commentary box, Annabelle Croft, Pat Cash, correspondent Russell Fuller. And one thing, Russell, we are certain of, we are sure of, history will be made tonight.
It's a unique night in this sport, Gigi. The fact that one man can be trying to become the quickest ever winner of the career Grand Slam, and the other to break the record for the all-time number of Grand Slam singles titles. So, just to recap what's at stake, Novak Djokovic is trying to win a 25th Grand Slam singles title, which would give him the all-time record and break his tie with Margaret Court. Victory would also make him, at 38, the oldest player in the Open era to win a Grand Slam singles title, taking Ken Rosewall's record, and Rosewall and Court are both here in the Rod Laver Arena tonight. It would also be an 11th Australian Open title for Djokovic. It would be a first for Alcaraz, and that's the significant thing, because it would make him the 9th man in history to complete the career Grand Slam, to win all 4 of the sport's major titles, and he would become the youngest in history and beat a record set by Don Budge at the French Championships of 1938.
Pat, Annabelle, where are your excitement levels?
Off the scale for me, to be honest with you. I agree with everybody that the hype and the build-up to this final is as high as I've ever known. When you're going to watch a match like this and a final which has so much history on the line. As Russell was saying, Alcaraz has never won this title. Djokovic has never lost an Australian Open final. He's going to try and overtake Margaret Court, and with Alcaraz trying to be the youngest, and also to hold all 4 Grand Slams is extraordinary. So there, it's what you want in a final like that. It's got all the ingredients for a real blockbuster. I can't wait.
Yeah, I think this is. I think it's added a little spice, hasn't it? Novak getting through, and you guys are probably outside and hearing the Serbians
chanting, singing to Novak. I mean, the atmosphere is going to be is absolutely electric outside. People are very excited, thinking Novak is, well, somebody's going to break history, but they believe their man Novak can, do what we thought would be the impossible at the beginning of the tournament, and beat the number 1 and 2 players in the world back to back. And he may well do it tonight. We'll wait and see. But it's very, very exciting. In actual fact, it makes it more exciting. Well, I know the Sinner and Alcaraz match is something we always dream of as far as quality. But I actually think it's added more excitement, the fact that Novak's got through.
And a lot of
played
people,
so well, not just
yeah.
I was sure he got defaults, a couple of defaults,
but he had to beat Jannik Sinner.
But he had to beat Sinner, and he beat him. And that was unbelievable performance. Novak of old.
The players are gathered in the holding area, which has been changed this year. It's a black floor, LED screens either side of them showing pictures of the Norman Brooks trophy that they are playing for. Carlos Alcaraz for a first time, and Novak Djokovic looking to get an 11th. And it's really interesting. Normally, as they walk down the corridor of champions, it's the higher ranked player who goes first. But on this occasion, it is who will be the new world number 3, but the 10-time champion Novak Djokovic, who will lead them out, Annabelle, and therefore he will have the closest exit, which is normally where the high-ranked player, and Alcaraz being world number 1.
Why have they done that?
They've done it maybe to honour the 10 titles, the fact he's a 10-time champion at the Australian Open. He is leading the way down the corridor. Maybe he said he believed. Did he really believe there would be another Grand Slam final in him? A 38th Grand Slam final for the 38-year-old Novak Djokovic. And they now enter the stage of the corridor of champions where you have the former winners either side of them. Novak Djokovic will see his picture, his face and his years, although they are running out of space to put all his years, right towards the front.
It was interesting because we know that they actually like each other a lot. There's an enormous amount of respect between the two of them, and Carlos Alcaraz has been well documented in the last couple of weeks as having copied his service motion, so that's how much he respects him. But I've been keeping a close eye on their respective body language, backstage just now before they made this walk down the tunnel, and actually they're doing a good job to avoid each other. They've not looked at each other yet.
And here they come onto the Rod Laver Arena, the men's final in 2026.
Men's singles final action. Please welcome to Rod Laver Arena, from Spain, Carlos Alcaraz. And his opponent from Serbia, Novak Djokovic.
Wow, listen to that. I didn't expect that. Way bigger cheer for Novak Djokovic.
As Pat said, all around the grounds, all I've seen are Serbian flags. They are out in force after beating Jannik Sinner. He said it's the best atmosphere, it's the most love he's ever felt from an Australian crowd.
Yeah, I mean, they love him out here, and he well deserves this, doesn't he? But I think the neutrals, and there's plenty of them, will be going for Carlos. So I think there'll be lots of roars, but the louder roars, the more enthusiastic roars, of course, will come from the Serbs.
I think it's so interesting, the fact that when he beat Sinner, it was overwhelming, the response from the fans and the crowds for Djokovic. And as we know, he's had, from the majority of his career, he hasn't had a lot of support. He's had to fight against it. He's almost used it as fuel to go after the wins. But for him to walk out and receive a reception like that, I think he's not had that many times, believe it or not. Even though we're talking about this great champion, 24 slams and everything he's achieved in the game, he's had to do it the hard way, and I think that's going to be quite special to him that he's just received that reception.
Nice to meet you. How are you doing? Have a good match.
The voice you're going to hear is that of chair umpire John Blom.
With the towel boxes. Novak, you want to take the blue one? Yep. And you take the white one. Just for the video reviews, guys, it's better to finish the point and then we can check if there is something. All right? Questions? Who are you going to ask? Novak or Carlos? Okay. You have AO or Mark Edmondson? AO.
It's a big decision for that ball kid, isn't it?
What is it, mate? Edmondson, your call.
Who did you say, Carlos?
Okay, so he went for Djokovic. Djokovic called it. Alcaraz won it. He said he's going to receive. So we're going to have a nice little photo. The warm-up will begin. And let's start by hearing from Novak Djokovic. So after coming through against Jannik Sinner in an absolutely epic message, the 10-time Australian Open champion had this message for his doubters.
I never stopped believing in myself, you know. There's a lot of people that doubt me, and I see there's a lot of experts all of a sudden that wanted to retire me or have retired me many times the last couple of years. But I want to thank them all because they gave me strength, you know. They gave me motivation to prove them wrong. For me, it's not a surprise, to be honest. You know, I know what I'm capable of. So I've had many times in my career matches during the Grand Slam where it's just one of those days where you're not feeling your best, and you try to find a way to win with everything that you possibly have, even though the quality of tennis is not even close to where you want it to be.
So Pat, he has the motivation, but the big question is, heard from someone within the Novak Djokovic camp saying he got into bed at 6 o'clock Saturday morning after that semi-final on Friday night.
Yeah,
we know the cramp issues / injury that Carlos Alcaraz had. So the big thing is who has been able to have the better recovery in the time that they've had.
Oh yeah, man, it's massive. They've both had very tough 5-set matches. Carlos, of course, played in the stinking heat. Had a few hours extra rest. Yeah, that's going to be significant. You know, is Carlos's leg recovered? It certainly looked like at the end of the match. Didn't look like there was a problem there. So my indication would be that he'll be okay. I'd hate to see him go early on in this match and hurt the quad muscle again. And you know, how's Novak's body? But you know, as we've talked about, he goes to absolutely every little minute detail to try and get himself ready. I'm sure he hit the hyperbaric chamber. Last time when he had a marathon match, the year that he ended up beating Rafa in the final, he actually didn't hit on the day off. I don't know if he hit yesterday.
No, he did. Neither of them hit yesterday.
Yeah, he just he slept stayed in bed the whole time and sort of got out of bed in the afternoon the first time before the final and loosened up and got ready to go. So that worked for him then. I assume he's done the same sort of thing, just laid there for 18 hours.
Trouble is, he's 14 years older than he was then.
Yes, there's a lot of questions about this, you know, the physicality and what's going to happen in this match.
His former coach, Goran Ivanisevic, the coach of Novak Djokovic, has been quoted as saying there is no such thing as tiredness in a Grand Slam final. His chances are 50-50. If I could, Annabelle, throw into the mix the conditions. The roof has just opened. It's windy outside. It's fairly chilly. And for those I was sort of trying to canvass to get their feeling about things, they were saying Novak Djokovic would have been doing a rain dance to have the roof closed, and it would favour the Spaniard.
Yeah, I think, you know, they're both very experienced in playing in all sorts of conditions. I mean, you know, we've just said, 14 years more on the tour, Djokovic would have played in sort of pretty horrific windy conditions.
Just about everything.
Knows how to play in the wind. But yeah, probably he's also got such a great record indoors that he would have probably loved it if it was indoors. I would say it was pretty evenly split. I think the way that Alcaraz plays his tennis, I've always thought that he has such a versatile wrist. You know, he's got an ability just to adapt to anything. So what you need in windy conditions is great footwork around the ball. Well, they both got that, but an ability if the ball does something funny because of the wind, that you can make an adjustment with your wrist. And I would say Alcaraz has that, capability perhaps a little bit more. But one thing I would say is watching them both warming up earlier today, and then watching Djokovic backstage and all that pre-routine that we saw in the gym. He looks energized. I mean, he did not look fatigued at all. Of course, it's difficult to tell from something like that, but you do get some sort of sense of I think at the start, he doesn't look heavy-legged. He looks like he's really fired up.
30 seconds.
59-41, that's the percentage on the win predictor in favour of Carlos Alcaraz. And Ross, there will also be nerves for the Spaniard in his first Australian Open final, looking to complete that career slam, and nerves from Novak Djokovic, because how many more chances will he get to be in this position?
And I wonder if this is something he really believed he could do. I'm sure he did deep down somewhere, but he has said repeatedly, hasn't he, over the course of the last year, that I'm going to struggle to find the stamina to beat Sinner or Alcaraz over 5 sets, and whether he could do it back to back. But he must feel that this is going to be the best ever chance he now has to win a 25th Grand Slam singles title. And even though Alcaraz knows that he's going to have many, many chances to win the Australian Open and complete the career Grand Slam, I think he's very, very keen to be the youngest man in history to do so. And it's his last chance to do it, because if he wins it next January, he will actually be a little bit older than Don Budge was in 1938. So I think he's put a lot of emphasis on winning here in Melbourne this year, and perhaps he's also trying to avoid a Rory McIlroy type scenario where people are asking about it for the next 10 or 12 years.
Cannot wait for this. You're with the 5 Live tennis team live from Melbourne Park, the final match, and what a match of the 2026 Australian Open, and you're going to have every ball live with us. Novak Djokovic against Carlos Alcaraz in the company of Annabelle Croft, Pat Cash and Russell Fuller.
For the 10th time then, Novak Djokovic and Carlos Alcaraz take to the court. Djokovic leads the head-to-head 5-4. Most of those matches have been spectacular and dramatic, but this is the biggest one of all, with a career Grand Slam at stake for Alcaraz and the all-time Grand Slam singles record within Djokovic's grasp. He will serve first. Commentary box end, forehand return from Alcaraz, forehand Djokovic down the line, Alcaraz backhand, Djokovic inside the baseline, swings a forehand at the forehand cross-court of Alcaraz, which he cannot control, and Djokovic wins the first point of the 2026 Australian Open men's singles final on 5 Live and BBC Sounds.
And just so intriguing that Alcaraz, won the toss and has elected to receive. I was quite surprised about that. I thought he would want to go out there and serve first and lead with the scoreline. Trying to maybe try and capitalise on some early nerves down the other end.
Djokovic misses the first serve. Green top. Black shorts. And Carlos Alcaraz at the far end with black, white and mint green on his sleeveless top and shorts. He's hit a return into the net and it's spun back his side.
Well, that was that serve he used so effectively against Sinner. That one on the ad side where he goes down the centre tee, but he gets this wonderful swing on the ball and real accuracy. I wonder how much we're going to see that tonight.
Djokovic then has 30 love as he begins yet another Grand Slam singles final. Backhand cross-court. In fact, he fooled me as well as Alcaraz. He went down the line, hit him behind Alcaraz, and Rafael Nadal, one of the special guests inside the arena tonight, is shown applauding, fairly stony-faced, on the big screen.
That's a good description, Russell. Yeah, he looks quite concerned, actually, doesn't he?
Well, he's one of the few people in here who doesn't have a record threatened by Novak Djokovic tonight, as far as I'm aware. But he's perhaps still a little bit jet-lagged, having arrived here, I think, on Friday. And he's been part of the Night of Legends on the Kia Arena alongside Ash Barty, Dylan Alcott and various DJs, all part of the fun of the fair here at the Australian Open, especially over the final weekend. Backhand cross-court from Alcaraz. Alcaraz now hits the forehand to the Djokovic forehand. Alcaraz cross-court with a forehand and onto the sideline. Djokovic gets another ball back, but Alcaraz now wins his first point by putting that forehand away from on top of the net.
40-15.
Good hard ball striking on the forehand side from Alcaraz. That's going to be he's going to need to do that, be able to hook it around and pull Novak out of position. Sinner just couldn't do that in the semi-final. Alcaraz can, from the middle of the court, hook his forehand to all corners.
2 game points remaining for Djokovic as he serves at 40-15 onto the backhand of Alcaraz, which is long.
Djokovic.
Well, what a brilliant start for Djokovic, and just very clinical in that opening service game, just what he would have wanted to get out of the blocks quickly. But also, interestingly, that last serve, Pat, that was what I watched him in the practice session. He served more of that down to the backhand of Alcaraz in the warm-up when he was out here about an hour ago. So interesting to see him close out that game with that one, to serve down into the backhand.
Well, I mean, it is the weaker side. It's they're just mainly because the forehand is so good.
So devastating. Although he has that swinger out wide, doesn't he, which he uses a lot. But today, when he warmed up, pretty much most of the serves he warmed up were down that centre tee on the deuce side to the backhand.
So Djokovic holds. Rafael Nadal is here, as I mentioned. So too is Ken Rosewall, who is currently the oldest winner of a Grand Slam in the Open era. He was 37 here when he won the 1972 Australian Open, beating Mal Anderson, another Australian. Margaret Court is here. Her record she shares with Djokovic for Grand Slam titles is in danger of slipping out of her fingers over the next few hours. Alcaraz starts with an ace. Mark Edmondson here as well, the last Australian winner of the men's singles title. He will present the Norman Brooks Challenge Cup at the end of the night. It's 50 years since his triumph. And also from the world of sport, we have Ricky Ponting, John Eales, former F1 driver Mark Webber, and the actor Eric Banner is also here. Forehand from Alcaraz, forehand Djokovic down the centre. Djokovic down the line, into the net with the backhand. And I mentioned the Night of Legends that's been taking place. You could also today have enjoyed DJ Peggy Goo, who was in the John Cain Arena as AO Live drew to a close. You could have watched the AO 1 Point Glam Slam, which is a big LGBTQ plus event. Short put away for Alcaraz, and he makes no mistake with a forehand. Junior finals as well. Closing stages of the blind and low vision and intellectual disability and deaf tennis events. So a lot of people have been on the grounds since around about lunchtime, making the most of day 15, the final day of this Australian Open. And really a 21-day event now, given the interest in opening week, the exhibition matches and the 1 Point Slam, as well as all the qualifying. Forehand return by Djokovic. Alcaraz hooks the forehand cross-court. Djokovic down the line for a winner.
40-15.
Well, they're both striking the ball beautifully, middling it. Dealt with that really low ball. Looked like quite an awkward shot for Djokovic, but on the attack really got Alcaraz off balance, flailing at that first forehand after serve, and then followed it up, Djokovic with a great winner.
So 2 game points left for Alcaraz. Serves into the body of Djokovic, who returns on the forehand. Forehand down the line, Alcaraz. The smash for the Spaniard. And he also holds to 15 to level the score at 1 game all.
A good couple of games from the servers there. Both held convincingly and playing good shots. Wasn't really any errors from either side. Carlos was a bit scratchy, missed a routine backhand return, but served pretty well there.
Interesting, we've just seen a stat on our screens here in the booth. 128 kilometres an hour on the forehand side for Alcaraz, but Djokovic up on that, up in the 130s. So his forehand has actually got more power on it, which is interesting.
And that was very noticeable against Jannik Sinner, wasn't it, that he was really going for it. And he's still very, very capable of doing that, despite being 3 months shy of his 39th birthday. He beat Alcaraz here at the Australian Open in the quarter-final stage just 12 months ago in 4 sets. It was quite a cool and windy evening that night as well. Forehand from Alcaraz is just long.
15.
Different Alcaraz 12 months on, though, isn't it? He was really quite hesitant there, and I think feeling his way into the new season, without wishing to take anything away from the way Djokovic played.
Yeah, and I seem to remember, you know, when Andy Murray was sitting courtside, you know, there was a lot of interesting tactics from Djokovic that particular match, where he had dropped the first set, but he hit a lot of balls up the centre of the court.
15 love, short put away here for Djokovic, surely. He hammers that off forehand away to move to 30 love.
He sort of took away a lot of the angles for Alcaraz, and he started to miss quite a bit. He was trying to create too much, and there was a lot of unforced errors, and he started to lose confidence. And I seem to remember Djokovic used the slice backhand quite a bit, and there was a lot of sort of Andy Murray-esque type sort of tactics that I felt was brought into play. And he gave Murray a really big hug at the end of that win.
30 love, good serve by Djokovic, and the forehand cross-court wide by the world number one, who will remain the world number one, whatever happens here tonight. Djokovic also picked up a leg injury in that quarter-final and then wasn't able to play much of the semi-final against Alex Zverev, retiring after a very long first set, which from memory lasted about 80 minutes. Backhand reply from Alcaraz cross-court, but Djokovic starting superbly on serve, holds to love. 3 very impressive service games with Djokovic leading 2-1, Gigi.
What a good start. It's lovely to have your company here on 5 Live. Carlos Alcaraz against Novak Djokovic. Stay with us, because whatever happens, history will be made this evening in Melbourne. Now, we heard at the start from Novak Djokovic talking about his doubters, and they've given him motivation. For Carlos Alcaraz, he was asked at the start of the fortnight whether he would rather win this title or all the other 3 slams in 2026.
That's a good one. I don't know. Obviously, complete the career Grand Slam is something amazing to do. Be able to be the youngest that I have done it before is even better. But 3 are 3. 3 Grand Slam are 3 Grand Slam. It is a question that I gotta think about it, not just a quick answer.
Same question I asked you a couple of weeks ago that you said you would think about. If it was a choice between this Australian Open and becoming the youngest man to complete the career Grand Slam, or all of the other 3 this year, which would you choose?
I would choose this one. If I make the final of the other 3, yeah. But yeah, I would say I'd rather win this one than the 3 and complete the Grand Slam, being the youngest ever to do it.
This is what it means to the 22-year-old Carlos Alcaraz.
From the horse's mouth there, this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to become the youngest man ever to complete the career Grand Slam. Don Budge was also 22 in 1938. Backhand return here from Djokovic. Forehand from Djokovic to the Alcaraz forehand, which is swung cross-court. Backhand from Djokovic, who's been pushed back behind the baseline. Some heavy hitting from Alcaraz, but Djokovic is equal to it and now sends that one up with a little bit of air. So does Alcaraz, and a brilliant off forehand by Djokovic wins him the point as Alcaraz goes long.
Love 15.
Just one little wobbly, slight miss hit from Alcaraz, and Djokovic gets onto that forehand, thumps it in the backhand corner. That was his most dangerous shot against Sinner. Just from the middle of the court, or slightly to the backhand side, into the backhand corner. Time and time again. He's got it going quickly tonight.
Love 15. Drop shot from Alcaraz for 15 all. Both moving well in the very early stages, aren't they?
I think so. I think that was what all eyes were going to be on, their physical capabilities out here early in this match. Could we see or spot any signs of heavy legs or injuries? But no sign whatsoever. They both look really sharp and energised.
15 all here on the Alcaraz serve. Misses down the tee. Obviously, my body could be better, he said after that 5-hour and 27-minute semi-final victory over Alex Zverev, in which he started cramping at the end of the 3rd set when 2 sets to love up. Backhand return by Djokovic. Alcaraz backhand cross-court. Djokovic goes cross-court, and now Alcaraz down the line. Djokovic cross-court with a forehand. Lovely angle by Alcaraz, and Djokovic just long as he tries a super ambitious forehand down the line.
Almost around the net.
30-15.
Just goes to show he's very confident with his forehand at the moment, Novak. I think the drop shots and the change-ups, Novak, once he gets locked in and he gets a rhythm, he's just almost near impossible to move. He's like a giant sumo wrestler. He just can't moving out of the way. You can't force errors on him. Alcaraz has got to create something. Drop shots, slices, whatever it happens to be.
30-15. High quality so far. Second serve Alcaraz. First double fault to the final.
30 all.
That semi-final was the longest semi-final in Australian Open history and the 3rd longest match in the tournament's history. That 2012 final between Djokovic and Rafael Nadal lasted 5 hours and 53 minutes. And more recently, 2023, Andy Murray beating Thanasi Kokkinakis in 5 hours and 45 minutes in a match that finished sometime after 4 a.m. 30 all, first serve netted by Alcaraz. So here's some pressure on the server for the first time in this men's singles final. A deep, powerful second serve by Alcaraz. Djokovic's forehand up the centre. Djokovic cross-court with a forehand. Alcaraz down the line. Djokovic with a backhand. Alcaraz into the net. First break point goes to the 38-year-old.
Yeah, a little bit snatched at that forehand and a little bit more tension, I would say, down that end at the moment. The double fault and now that horrible forehand into the net. Djokovic will be sensing something here.
Various pieces of advice being offered there to Djokovic and Alcaraz. Break point to Djokovic, backhand return. The drop shot is a winner from Alcaraz. The second time he's played that to great effect. Nice disguise, and Djokovic is too wise to run for that.
It's quite incredible. It's a huge point. Somehow under pressure. I mean, they're risky shots, the drop shots. You don't, rule of thumb really is you don't go for a risky drop shot on a huge point. But no. He's almost the opposite of that rule, isn't he?
He's rewriting the rules.
He's rewriting the rules.
Forehand return from Djokovic. Alcaraz forehand straight back at Djokovic, who's very much in this rally now. Forehand pushed down the line sweetly by Djokovic. Backhand from him onto the backhand of Alcaraz. Djokovic slices the backhand. Alcaraz with some air on the forehand to the backhand of the Serb. Forehand Djokovic dragging Alcaraz wide, and he can net only from there on the forehand, and he didn't have to wait long, Djokovic, for a second breakpoint opportunity.
Well, Djokovic looked like the conductor in that last rally. He was controlling the tempo. He threw in the slice backhand, which created the sort of rather uncomfortable forehand that was a slight mishit, and then down the middle, and then the big one into the corner. So he was flattened out with more pace and power. So he was definitely in control of that rally.
Players are ready. Thank you.
So a second break point for Djokovic with 16 minutes on the clock. To the forehand, Alcaraz serves. Forehand cross-court, Alcaraz. Djokovic with the forehand. Alcaraz with the backhand, hitting to the forehand of Djokovic and in behind him. And that opened up the court. And Alcaraz from the dead centre of the court hits a simple forehand winner past the Serb.
Yes.
It must be strange for Djokovic when he's receiving serve to watch Carlos Alcaraz, who he's faced so many times before, but with this new remodeled service motion, which is a direct copy of his own.
Yeah, it's a start, isn't it? The beginning of the serve. I mean, the elbow positions, everything else has stayed the same, but.
Forehand return from Djokovic. Forehand wide from Alcaraz. Third break point now for the 24-time Grand Slam champion.
Making a lot of returns, and that's no surprise. Novak Djokovic making a lot of returns, but a lot of good returns. Alcaraz is he got one loose return, but every first serve is coming back, and that just builds on the pressure, doesn't it?
Third break point for Djokovic. Backhand return cross-court. Alcaraz down the line, hits the top of the net and lands in. Forehand cross-court Alcaraz. Forehand Djokovic down the line. Moving Alcaraz around is in trouble. Djokovic with the backhand cross-court. Alcaraz stretches for it. Djokovic to the back of the court, hits the forehand. Alcaraz backhand cross-court is long. And Djokovic has broken and leads the first set of the final by 3-1.
Well, you really can't be hitting the ball any better than Djokovic is doing at the moment, and it's absolutely coming off the middle of the racket every time, clean.
Djokovic leads 3-1.
Carlos stretching here and there to try and get the ball back. Did a great job of it.
He was actually smiling at the end of that point, wasn't he, Djokovic? He enjoyed it.
He does seem to be smiling quite a lot. He enjoyed that point. He actually enjoyed the drop shot that Alcaraz used to save the first of the break points against him, which I think has to be a very good sign, doesn't it?
He looks the most relaxed I've seen of him for the entire tournament.
Extremely relaxed.
A lot of tension going through him, and I don't know whether he's like a coiled spring about to sort of erupt as a volcano, but today he looks really relaxed.
Djokovic deservedly in front, but there's his poorest shot of the match so far. A forehand into the net.
But I mean, he got the shot that he wanted as well. I mean, he's going to the Alcaraz backhand, gets the shorter ball, he winds up. He's hit so many winners of that already in this match with that forehand, and in the semi-finals, just time and again. So disappointed that he didn't execute, but he got the right shot.
Ace from Djokovic. His first of the final so far. He is the only man to have beaten both Jannik Sinner and Carlos Alcaraz at the same tour level event. It wasn't a Grand Slam as he hits a backhand down the line for the winner, but he managed it nonetheless at the ATP Finals of 2023. (30-15) he leads. The roof is open. It's been a cool, blustery day in Melbourne.
There's no wind in here though. I think they've sort of partially closed the roof. Worried about rain.
Forehand from Djokovic, the backhand from Alcaraz. Djokovic down the centre with the backhand, and Alcaraz with another error on the backhand. And Djokovic with 2 points now for a 4-1 lead in this first set.
It's a lot of errors from Alcaraz.
Yes, after a very solid start from both of them, Djokovic has quite clearly been the best player in the last couple of games. Two-game points then for Djokovic, 3-1, 40-15, down the tee, great serve. Djokovic leads by 4 games to 1.
And there it is again, that same serve down the centre tee, and a real change, I would say, of pattern for serving than he has against other opponents, but really nailing that one down the tee yet again. So it's quite interesting, isn't it? When you watch a player warm up, you know what the tactics are that they want to impart in the match, and he's certainly using that one very effectively.
I mean, he's going through a purple patch on his serve, isn't he? The last couple of matches, just phenomenal tennis. Serving big, accurately, and getting himself out of a lot of trouble in his semi-final. I mean, Sinner only grabbed 2 out of 18 break points. You know, there's all these things in my mind going, there's no way that Alcaraz will let go, you know, only 2 out of 18 break points. But the way that Djokovic is hitting the ball at the moment, he may not even get break points. I mean, he will, of course, but there's somebody. Novak has started much better, and it's interesting, the tactic. I mean, just going to the backhand. He says, I'm not going to get hurt by that backhand of Alcaraz, so he's quite comfortable there. He just, I'll just go for that, and then I'll wait for a short ball. And pretty simple tactic. Yeah. You see down at the local park or the local club every day. I'll just hit the ball to the guy's backhand until he makes a mistake or he hits the ball short. Then I'll try and hit the winner. I mean,
yeah, he's basically taking away the strengths, isn't he, of Alcaraz?
Tennis 101, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
So we'll see Russell play down the local club.
I don't think you'd need to worry about whether you targeted my forehand or my backhand. My backhand probably is worse. But you'd have no worries on the forehand side either, Kashi.
Now I know how to beat you.
It's been keeping you up all night worrying about that, hasn't it?
First mistake you made, mate.
1-4, Alcaraz trails. Just the one break of serve down. Forehand cross-court wide by Alcaraz. So 1-4, love 15. And remember, he's only dropped 2 sets in the championships, Alcaraz. And they were both while suffering from cramp against Alex Zverev. Sets 3 and 4 of the semi-final. So for Djokovic to win the first would be a flying start for the man who has won this title 10 times and has never lost an Australian Open final.
Yeah, it's an incredible stat.
Alcaraz with the off forehand, straight onto the Djokovic backhand. Alcaraz forehand down the middle. Djokovic drags the forehand cross court into the corner. Alcaraz with the forehand with air, but that's over the baseline as well. And suddenly he is being totally outplayed by Djokovic.
Yeah, and Djokovic is shaking his racket as if to say, I've got this, you know, keep going, keep focusing. And when he explodes onto that forehand, everything looks in sync, doesn't it? He had both feet off the ground, but he launched himself into that middle of the ball, and gosh, it's a sight to behold.
Yeah, I was waiting how long it would take him to sort of lock into this match, if at all. And as he did against Sinner, just no errors from the back of the court and hitting hard. And he's done it immediately from the first game.
1-4, love 30, great serve this by Alcaraz, but Djokovic has, at full stretch, got the return back in court, and now he's gone cross-court with a forehand. Djokovic now down the line. And that was an opportunity, wasn't it?
Yeah, and he knows it too.
30.
I think the other factor is if he could sneak this first set, I mean, it's 24 minutes on the clock. If he was to get the break here, serve for it at 5-1, that just takes out one of the sets. If it was to be a long, drawn-out 5-set thriller, just the physical side of it, it would help him, wouldn't it?
Please.
Yes, I'm sure that is also in his mind, that he doesn't particularly want this match to go into a third, or certainly a fourth hour, or a fifth hour. Just long with the return from Djokovic as Alcaraz played the half volley anyway and hoped for the call.
30.
Yeah, until the 4-hour 9-minute semi-final against Sinner, Djokovic had beaten Pedro Martinez, qualifier Francesco Maestrelli and Botic van der Zandschulp all in straight sets. Then got a walkover in round 4. Jakub Menšik couldn't play because of an abdominal injury, and then he was effectively out in the quarterfinals. 2 sets down to Lorenzo Musetti. As a service winner brings Alcaraz to 40-30, and the Italian retired when leading by 2 sets to love with a leg injury. And Djokovic was not mincing his words afterwards. He was a far better player, he said. I was on my way home tonight. Sinner threatening to recover from love 30 down here. Game point at 40-30. Backhand Djokovic. Alcaraz with the forehand. Forehand from Alcaraz is a winner.
Alcaraz.
And he holds from love 30 down, does Carlos Alcaraz, and it's 2-4.
Djokovic leads 4 games to 2.
Served his way out of a bit of trouble there at that love 30 point when Novak had the forehand down the line open. It was jumped a little bit higher than he expected. He ripped it. Seen a lot of winners like that on that shot. Threw his head back, went, oh no. But, and then Alcaraz recovered really well.
So 4-2. Djokovic serving from the far end, and net at the start of another exciting day of sport here on 5 Live. Premier League Sunday from midday, and 2 commentary matches this afternoon. Manchester United against Fulham from 2, and Spurs against Manchester City from 4:30 with Steve Crossman, Neda Manua, Julien Laurent and Lucy Ward.
15.
Netted the forehand cross-court by Alcaraz.
It's a rarity. You don't see such a wasted shot there from Alcaraz. He's not playing sort of 10 out of 10 tennis at the moment, is he? He's still trying to work his way into this first set.
I mean, they'll probably call it a forced error, but that was definitely an unforced error. Second serve, 159 right onto his forehand.
4-2, 15 love. Backhand return from Alcaraz is a good one. Alcaraz cross-court to the backhand of Djokovic once more. Now Djokovic with a forehand, which he pushes to the backhand of the Spaniard. Alcaraz cross-court with a forehand. Djokovic's forehand cross-court with a bit more power, and then even more power from Alcaraz, and they're stepping it up point by point. But the error once again comes from the world number 1, who nets his forehand, and Djokovic is waving his racket around in celebration as he moves to 30 love, and we see a predominantly Serb crowd out in Garden Square celebrating another point for their man as they watch on the big screen.
Well, he's winning a lot of these baseline extended rallies, to be honest with you, and Djokovic, as you say, celebrating that, but quite down the other end. Alcaraz really not happy, gesturing, he's shouting down at his team, he was saying to himself what he should have been doing.
He is currently missing too much. This is Djokovic with a short put away, cross-court with a forehand. A kind of drop shot from outside the court for 40 love.
40
Our chair umpire is John Blom of Australia, officiating his third men's singles final here at the Australian Open, and that may bring back happy memories for the watching Rafael Nadal, because the last final that John Blom umpired in Melbourne was Nadal's victory from 2-0 down against Daniel Medvedev 4 years ago. More good serving from Djokovic down the tee. Alcaraz forced to hit the forehand into the net almost. Love holds 5-2.
He is serving so well. Now, ahead of the Australian Open, lots of tennis pundits and fans and former players and probably all of us in this commentary box felt that Jannik Sinner and Carlos Alcaraz would continue their stranglehold on the Grand Slams this year, but not Marion Bartley.
I do feel that Novak has one more Grand Slam in his body, because last year he met Alcaraz in Australian Open in the quarterfinal. So he still had 2 more matches to go due to his seeded places. If he can maintain that ranking number 4 and sort of only face those 2 in the semi-final and final, that's a possibility for him to get one last Grand Slam, especially the Australian Open, which is a surface he adores. But I don't see any other players capable of having enough strength, enough mental strength, enough strategy, enough in the bag to be able to win a Grand Slam in 2026 other than Novak Djokovic.
Now that was Marion Bartley speaking on our Sinner Alcaraz 13 sets programme. You can find that. It's available on the All About Australian Open podcast feed. But the bit, Russell, they took out, I pushed her, is he going to get 25? I said, would you put your house on the fact he'll get 25? And she said, yes, because I've got more than one house, which made it slightly easier. If you put it on it, she would lose one, she'd still have another.
So it's like us putting a bedroom on that bet.
Yeah, a little bit. She was very easy with her houses that she would put one on it.
Well, she could be having a big smile on her face by the end of the evening. Djokovic is 5-2 up. That's too good, that first serve by Alcaraz. And I think it'd be fair to say the Gigi Salmon exit poll that you conducted before this final began was not as encouraging for Novak Djokovic.
No, the likes of Tim Henman, Laura Robson, Marat Safin, Tommy Haas, Daniela Hanzikova, all went without hesitation. Carlos Alcaraz largely coming down on physicality. The only person who went for Novak Djokovic, Andrea Petkovic.
Ah, well, she's been right before, hasn't she? Famously by predicting Iga Swiatek to win Wimbledon. Alcaraz pushes the forehand wide.
Well, in this form, it's, you got to pick Djokovic the way he's come out on the court today. It's been almost faultless tennis.
Yeah, it has. Yeah, you could take away the 14-year difference between the two of them, and if you just looked at them purely on what we're experiencing right now, it would be in favour of Djokovic.
2-5, 15-all. Alcaraz is serving to stay in this first set, and there's only 31 minutes played.
It's 1 unforced error to 10. I think it's more like 11.
Backhand from Djokovic. Djokovic with the forehand. Alcaraz makes room for the forehand, hits it down the line. Djokovic cross-court with a forehand. Great depth from him. He's moving Alcaraz around. Djokovic down the line with a backhand. Alcaraz forehand cross-court with a bit of air. The big forehand from Djokovic forces another error from Alcaraz, who has no answer for the way the 38-year-old has started his final.
He looks so clear, doesn't he, Pat, in the way he's playing this match tactically. He just looks like he knows exactly what he's got to do. And it's one thing to know the tactics, it's another to actually be able to, implement them. But he's doing it perfectly.
Yeah, no, that's spectacular tennis. Alcaraz is not, he's come out a little bit, maybe a little nervous or whatever, unforced errors. Dropping the ball a little short. But yeah, very clear on his tactics and executing to perfection at the moment.
2-5, 15-30. The forehand from Djokovic is in, down the centre. Air on that forehand by Djokovic. Cross-court with a forehand, Djokovic, and he's found a winner from behind his own baseline. And he has 2 set points.
Oh, and he's giving it the fist pump. His team is standing up and shaking their fists as well. That was a spectacular shot.
That was unbelievable. A couple of clay court moon balls there, and we thought we were in a moon ball rally of about 5 or 10 shots each, and he just steps up there and goes, no, enough of that, I'm going for the winner. As he did against Sinner, he's not messing around, doesn't want to give the opponent any rhythm.
2 set points to Djokovic. He blocks the forehand back, and Alcaraz has gone long. A flawed marvellous set of tennis from 38-year-old Novak Djokovic, who breaks the Carlos Alcaraz serve twice and takes the set by 6 games to 2. He's chasing a 25th Grand Slam singles title. He's hoping to become the oldest Grand Slam singles champion of modern times. And he could not have made a better start. Only 33 minutes of energy expended as Djokovic hits the front.
A faultless tennis, you're right, absolutely faultless. It's too good.
And he's 2 sets away from achieving that dream. Second set to come, but first here on 5 Live with the time 19 minutes past 9 on a Sunday morning. Let's bring you the news with Bethan Holmes.
The voice of the UK.
This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
A second woman has alleged she was sent to the UK by Jeffrey Epstein to have sex with Andrew Mountbatten in Windsor. Her lawyer says she was given a private tour of Buckingham Palace the following day. We've asked the former prince for comment, but so far his representatives haven't responded to these accusations. Elsewhere, the Rafah border crossing between Gaza and Egypt has reopened for the first time since May 2024. Israel says it's allowing the limited movement of people, but won't be letting any aid shipments in. West Midlands Railway and London North Western Railway are now under public ownership. The government hopes it'll improve reliability of services and make them more affordable. And drinks manufacturers are warning of an increase in prices as a rise in alcohol duty comes in. The tax paid by producers has gone up by just under 3.7%.
5 Live Sports.
The Six Nations.
Rugby's greatest championship returns.
What a day of the Six Nations it's been.
Live commentary of every match kicks off Thursday on 5 Live and BBC Sounds.
One of the all-time great tries. The Rugby Union Weekly podcast will be daily throughout the tournament with all the best insight and analysis from the biggest names in the game.
The Six Nations.
Listen on BBC Sounds.
The Australian Open Singles Finals on 5 Live Sports
and BBC Sounds.
Coming to you live from Melbourne, and if you're just joining us, you probably thought we'd be around the middle part of the first set. It's 1 set to love to Novak Djokovic, 6-2 with a double break, which means he kicks things off in set 2, and he's 2 sets away from his 11th Australian Open final as he serves into the body of Alcaraz. It's switched cross-court by the Serb, who swivels, goes inside out, but he nets. Annabelle, what do you want to see that you didn't see from the Spaniard in the second set?
Well, I guess when we talk about him as a player, you know, there's so much variety, but he's also very dominant on that forehand side, and he creates, you know, the spaces. He works an opponent and he throws in the drop shots and he controls and he comes forward. You know, he can do everything, but he is the dominant force on the court, dictating the play. Somehow, he needs to find a way to dictate more because he won't be enjoying being dictated to. But as I'm talking, he's actually got Djokovic down love 30, so Djokovic will need to come out and really focus to keep up that level. It's going to be very hard to play another set as well as he's just played.
Yeah, the forehand clipped the top of the tape going down the line. It ballooned long. So a very early window of opportunity for the 22-year-old, the world number 1. Djokovic with the green collared shirt, the navy shorts, reaches up, serves out wide. It's serving so well.
13.
His stat in the first set was when he got his first serve and he won 93% of the points. I mean, that's, first of all, very good serving, very good backing it up as well, but Alcaraz has just had little to no opportunities once he's got that serve in. I mean, he's not regarded as the biggest server of all time, Djokovic, but the last couple of days it's been phenomenal.
Serve down the tee, back through the middle of the court, the backhand double-handed cross-court, and the inside-out forehand from the Spaniard, who keeps it on his forehand side, spins it cross-court to a heavy flat ball that sits up on the forehand, flattened out down the line from Djokovic, cross-court and wide from Carlos Alcaraz, and it's 30-all.
30-all.
The way he's constructing the points, Djokovic, is kind of taking away that ability for Carlos to create the angles and create the spaces on the court. He's taking away a lot of the strengths of Alcaraz, which is incredibly clever.
Yeah, I mean, he hits the ball deceptively hard, Djokovic, and he's hitting it deep and down the middle, and it's very hard to create angles off that, which is what Carlos is known to do. And then when he does get a chance, like that last one, on the backhand, he thought, oh, I can get an angle off this one. He's missing. You know, they may start dropping, and then Novak's going to be doing all the running, but they're risky plays. He's going towards the line, right on the lines to get himself into the points, Alcaraz.
30 all, first game, second set, second serve. Djokovic serve out. Wow, what a second serve that was.
Serve. 173 kilometres an hour. I mean, that was a flattish, aggressive. That was like a first serve.
It was right in the corner.
Yeah.
Now, more importantly, the depth. Second serve is so much about depth and accuracy, of course, but the opponents have opportunity to skip around if it's not deep, even if it's fast.
Alcaraz having a little word with his box.
Yeah, he's not surprising. He's not playing well, and Djokovic is playing great.
Game point. Ooh, just misses down the tee. He has a long, lingering look, but the red traffic lights that we have either side of the net post, new for this year, flash when anything misses the court. So second serve at game point, first game, second set, first hit in the bag, serve down the tee, the forehand back through the middle of the court. Alcaraz keeps up the forehand, goes inside into the forehand, looping ball, sits up, brought down, inside out Alcaraz. Double-hander backhand from the span, that's got some air under it, goes deep, mid-court ball from Djokovic, cross-court on the backhand, flattened out from Alcaraz, who will draw the error, and it's deuce. That's our first deuce of the final.
It's the first point that he's actually been dominant in, really, hasn't he? From the back of the court, more than a couple of shots off the serve or something like that.
It's quite interesting watching the sort of tempo changes that Djokovic is putting into this match as well. As you've been saying, there's just the odd sort of like lofted one, bit loopier one, and then the flattening out. So he's kind of dictating the tempo of the rallies.
Well, it's the master again, versus the future master, I suppose.
Yeah, you can't really call him an apprentice.
No.
6 Grand Slam
I was about to say that, and I realised, that's not a good call.
A lofted ball sits up, flattened out, brought down forehand down the line from Djokovic. Keep on his forehand, go inside, and he's moving Alcaraz from side to side. He's off balance, he cannot control it, and it is game point Djokovic from love 30 in this first game.
Didn't move out to that wide ball well, did he, Alcaraz? That looked a bit tired and slow.
It did. I thought the same thing. I thought that's the first time I've seen evidence that the legs are still a hangover from that really long, drawn-out match. He's normally got so much strength in those legs when he's pushed wide to defend.
Game point. Novak Djokovic made his Australian Open debut in 2005. Alcaraz made his in 2021. Djokovic has 104 wins and just 10 defeats over that time. Serve out wide, game point, short ball, drop shot. Djokovic, oh, that's good, testing the legs. Alcaraz gets it, cannot control it. A great change-up from Novak Djokovic, testing the legs of the Spaniard. And from love 30, he holds for the first game of the second set.
Well, that's a get-out-of-trouble game, and those are the kind of games that might make a massive difference overall. You know, it could have been an easy call to go down a break of serve there, down love 30. I thought maybe that was where things were going to change, but actually he's served his way out of trouble and played some fantastic points behind serve. And that sort of builds up on Alcaraz's confidence in this match as well, doesn't it?
Yeah, very good drop shot at the end. Carlos got to it, all right. Couldn't control it. Cross court, tried to go the angle. Novak was there anyway. He would have picked that one up even if Carlos did get it in.
I also think, as you said, you know, Alcaraz isn't playing that well. He's not hitting the ball that well as we've been used to over the years. But you know, he's sort of coming off the ball quite a bit, isn't he? Where his slight miss hits, and he's just sort of not quite getting hold of it, where it's really doing damage and having impact through the court.
Yeah, he's a bit nervous on that backhand as well. You sort of almost hold your breath when he's hitting some of those backhands.
And the win predictors had a little swing. 41% chance of Djokovic winning at the start of the match. It swung now to 63% to the Serb.
That's interesting. That was a quick swing.
Why am I getting glared at by our correspondent?
It's very fickle, the win predictor.
I know, but I just like saying what it's predicting. But I don't know, in this performance, I think that's about right.
Yeah, I think so.
Pick up off the backhand from Djokovic. Mid-court ball, forehand thundered cross-court from the 22-year-old.
15 love.
He holds that ball well, doesn't he? That put-away forehand. He literally holds it until the guy moves and then just places it on the other side.
Ball, boys and girls, back into position. Alcaraz is ready with the sleeveless top with the green, white and black on it. Black shorts, plays the forehand, drops that short mid-court, cross-court, further back now Djokovic, as Alcaraz is on the baseline. It's Djokovic who's been pushed back, mid-court ball, back and down the line, allowed Djokovic to step in. The squash shot from Djokovic, but he couldn't control it, on the slide, was off balance. A firm fist bump from the Spaniard, who moves to 30 love.
That'll make him feel a lot better there. Great offensive shot from Djokovic, though. Right in the backhand corner, hit it right back to the cross court to the corner. And that's what you need to do in defence. Not just he didn't just float it back either. He did it hard.
A little look across from the Spaniard now, tosses the ball up into the night sky and serves down the tee. It's a short ball. He places it with the off forehand, then he hits the volley. Djokovic will get there. He puts the ball up. The backhand swing down off the high volley from Alcaraz and the miss from Djokovic.
Well, they had a play on that. It's quite surprising to see Djokovic miss that. He had the target at the net with Alcaraz. He had a little bit of time on the ball. Played a great lob that made it a little bit uncomfortable, and I think he'll be disappointed he just missed that passing shot.
Yeah, Carlos just sort of just moseys into the net sometimes. Sort of poked at that volley, gave Djokovic the chance for the lob and almost got over his backhand side.
Game points. Ace down the tee. It's a clean hold, a love hold. There's a Spanish flag just below us waving wildly as their man holds serve. Early stages, second set.
Well, we indicate that Carlos is feeling a little bit better about life at the moment. Had a couple of good winners in that game. Struck a beautiful one forehand out of the middle of the racket, as we're used to seeing, but it's definitely a shaky start first set. I mean, that was a marathon semi-final in that heat. He's come out a little bit more sluggish.
Yeah, he said we pushed our bodies to the limit. Talking about the 5 hours 27 against Sasha Zverev, where he was suffering for about an hour and a half of it with what we believe to be cramp. On the angle, onto the sidelines goes Novak Djokovic.
I don't really know what's coming next out of Djokovic's racket. I mean, one minute he's hurling himself at the ball and it's like a hammer blow, and then the next minute he's working the point, and then he's going down the middle and he's putting a little more height on it. As I said, he's kind of changing the tempo all the time, keeping Alcaraz guessing.
He's won 86% of first serve points. His average for the tournament is 75. Novak Djokovic, as he slams the forehand, but he misses it, and he knew as it left the strings on his racket that it was not going to end up in the court. Both men prowling around at the back of the court. Alcaraz is behind and alongside the Melbourne sign. Novak Djokovic will start the bouncing of the ball. He bounces up to around hip height, some firm bounces with that left hand. Now it touches the strings of the racket, tosses up into the air, misses down the tee.
Alcaraz going a long way back. Second serve, trying to get into this rally.
It's 1-all, 15-all. Cuts and slices that serve up. The forehand sort of flat down the line. Backhand cross court. Backhand down the line from Djokovic. Forehand clips top net from Alcaraz. Turns into a peach of a drop shot. And there's a double-handed kind of sorry, not sorry from the Spaniard.
Literally rolled down the net.
I don't think I've ever seen a let cord like that.
It was unbelievable.
And it wasn't a well-struck forehand from
Novak's
Alcaraz.
chasing off, and it literally rolls down there and hits the net on Novak's side.
I mean, he's really good at drop shots, but
yeah,
that needed a little bit of help to make it special.
I don't think I've ever seen a let cord that's actually rolled down the side of the net on the other side. That was weird.
That was a huge bit of luck.
Gives him an opening head. Love 30 in the first game of Novak Djokovic's serve. He's now at 15-30. The first serve is missed down the tee. Alcaraz will stay back. Djokovic looks up to see the positioning of his opponent. Now continues with the bouncing. Serves, cuts it out wide. Backhand cross court into the service box through the middle of the court. Alcaraz will spin that ball cross court the forehand. Another forehand spun middle of the court. Flattened out down the line from Djokovic. The slice off the backhand from Alcaraz.
Oh, he's missed it.
And then he's missed it inside the baseline. The off forehand into the tram lines. Break points, the first of the second set. 14. And these are for the world number one.
I did wonder how expensive that let cord was going to be for Djokovic, and it looks like it's actually piled on extra pressure in this service game and brought about, well, a massive opportunity here for Alcaraz.
I haven't seen Novak miss many of those. Alcaraz was just popping the ball in the middle of the court, wasn't he? Just scrambling. Was doing nothing with the ball, and Novak missed the easy put away.
Break point number 1. Serve down the tee.
His first serve, first time.
Yeah.
Missing first serves.
Second serve. Alcaraz still a long way back, leaning forward, slight knee bend, swaying from side to side, waiting to see what approaches. It's an out wide serve. He spins the ball back. Djokovic goes to serve and volley, and he misses. Out wide with the volley. The Spanish flags fly as Carlos Alcaraz breaks the serve to 15.
Novak.
To lead with a break, 2-1 in the second set.
Yeah, he points straight to his eyes as if I didn't see that. I didn't see that. And that's the thing, a tough thing about serve volleying. You know, it's not easy to pick it up out of the backdrops with the sponsors' logos. They're in white. I've always said that. I said sponsors' logos should never be white or yellow, obviously, for the tennis balls. And he's just stuck some eye drops in his eyes. He didn't pick that one up at all.
So for the first time in the final, the Spaniard has the lead. But when it comes to experience, Djokovic has a fair bit of playing in Grand Slam finals, this being his 38th. But has he treated this one any differently?
History is on the line for both of us every time we play. I mean, the finals of Grand Slam, you know, there's a lot at stake, but it's no different from any other big match that I play. You know, my preparation is as it should be, and I won against him last year here. Let's see how fresh are we both able to be. You know, he also had a big match, but you know, he's got about 16 years on me, so you know, biologically I think it's going to be a bit easier for him to recover. But yeah, I look forward to it. You know, look, I play tennis competitively mainly to be able to reach the finals of Grand Slam. You know, here I am.
The age gap is 15 years, 348 days. And the Spaniard looking to consolidate his break with 50 minutes on the clock. Serves down the tee, the off backhand return. The backhand, just slicing the outside edge of the line from Novak Djokovic.
That must have just, look at the,
Just a slither.
Yeah, Alcaraz has gone down and looked at the line. I'm not surprised, actually. My instinct, if I didn't see the red lights, was that it was out. He kind of caught it on the inside and it looked like it was travelling out.
Love 15, 2-1. Serve kicked up off the tee. 15 bounced over the head of Novak Djokovic and levels us up at 15-all.
It's that centre line, that white centre line. Novak's been pretty good at doing that this tournament. And that's really skids off.
Down the tee again, drops over, goes back behind Djokovic, who is there, and hammers the forehand towards the waiting Spaniard at the net.
I think that was heading towards Rafael Nadal, that shot that just hit. That was going out for
so
sure.
Far out. That was so far out, but he already committed. It was hit so hard, so fast. It was, that was going to be a good 6 feet out. He committed to it. He didn't expect Novak to be missing a passing shot by that much.
Again, the smile from Alcaraz after missing that. He so often does that, doesn't he? He does such a great reaction.
Not sure he's smiling inside right now.
No, that was a shocker.
Set down, he's a break up, but it's now 15-30. Djokovic inside the baseline. Long.
Oh, he'd let that one back. It was a rarity. We haven't seen any of that loose kind of play from Djokovic. Very rarely see him miss those backhand returns.
No. Especially that big moment. But he's going straight back down the middle, not giving Alcaraz any angle. That's the ploy.
Serve down the tee, the backhand through the middle of the court. Through the middle, the Spaniard with his backhand now switches it to the forehand, spins it and goes long.
30-14.
That's why he gets those errors out of that middle ball, that central shot down the middle of the court, and Alcaraz just trying to create the angle and going for too much, and it's just missed by a whisker.
Break back point. After getting an early break, Carlos Alcaraz has a 93% success rate of then going on to close out the set. But he's got a spot of bother here. He's the first serve, doesn't get it. second serve. Djokovic on the baseline, plays the double-handed backhand, pushes that ball inside in from Alcaraz, back down the line and long from Djokovic, who's just hammering his fist against the side of his head.
Gee, the unforced error count in the last couple of games just gone through the roof for Novak.
Yeah.
It's maybe 5 in a row. 5, well, not in a row, but 5 over the last couple of games.
Already 7 unforced errors for the serve in the second set, only put down 4 in the first. Juice. Serve out wide, slap back and long. Game point to consolidate the break and for a 3-1 second set lead. Alcaraz crashes the first serve in his net. He was heading out wide, the backhand of Djokovic. Kicks that serve in, backhand cross court. The point is underway. Into the corner goes Djokovic. Djokovic to backhand places it down the other line. The squash shot forehand cross court from Alcaraz. Alcaraz down the line with the backhand on the stretch. Djokovic comes in with the volley. It sits up. Alcaraz should finish it off. The stretch by Djokovic, but he nets on the stretch. And the world number 1 consolidates his break with a huge vamos to the Rod Laver Arena and takes a 3-1 second set lead.
Alcaraz leads 3-1.
Well, 3/4 of that point, Pat, was played very well from Djokovic, but once he decided to come forward to the net, he just didn't get in the right position for that volley. He was flailing at it and lunging, and then Alcaraz took control.
Yeah, I mean, Carlos needed Novak to go off the boil a bit, and he's done that. Still, Novak, very rarely seen him make 2 unforced errors on break points.
Djokovic, look up, look down, starts the bouncing, 1-3 down. Alcaraz a long way back, 55 minutes on the clock, serve down the tee, but the net is clipped. Djokovic will examine his balls, twiddle them, tuck one in the pocket, and bounce the one he hopes will get the job done. It's an awful lot of bouncing. And he misses down the tee. So it obviously was not the right ball, but he has the spare one in the pocket. Takes the ball out, tucks the lining back in the pocket on the left-hand side. No shot clock on the second serve, so he can take his time. Ready now, serves down the tee, drops that one a bit short. The backhand's in play down the line. The backhand swung cross-court onto the sideline from Djokovic, who swivels and goes drop shot. Ooh, that sits up. In comes Alcaraz, who plays a much better drop shot. Down the line goes Djokovic for the winner.
Well, it was a very short second serve from Djokovic. That's the first time he's put in quite a wobbly one there. Managed to turn that point around. It wasn't the best drop shot.
No. But Carlos had plenty of time and drop shotted back across court. That wasn't a great drop shot, and Novak was moving before he even went to hit that. He knew exactly where Carlos was going to go. Very predictable and not a great drop shot. Easy open court for him.
First serve thunders into the net. Alcaraz keeps that position far from the baseline, wide stance, just a slight knee bend, just like a slight lean forward. Now he's upright and lays into the back, and it's a serve and volley from Djokovic. Plays the volley. Oh, beautiful play, lovely touch from Novak Djokovic.
Well, we only saw that a couple of times at key moments against Sinner. One particular one when he was breakpoint down, and on a second serve he serve volleyed. But this one is absolute perfection. And I do wonder actually whether he's just trying to keep the points as short as possible as well at times, just to throw in different rhythm.
He is a long way back. Stefan Edberg's in the stadium as well. You'd have enjoyed that. Pretty stock standard, so serve volley, second serve get in, just drop the ball over the net.
I mean, they've been packing in the legends, haven't they, these 2 weeks? We started off with Roger Federer and Andre Agassi. We're finishing with Stefan Edberg and Rafa Nadal, and we've had Jennifer Capriati here as well.
Yeah.
Angelique Kerber.
Yeah. Martina Navratilova.
Yeah, I think she's come here for TV, hasn't she? The others have, I think, have been invited, flown in.
Safin stayed after Andrei Rublev lost. Game point, serve out wide, looked to serve and volley again, clips the top of the... No, it didn't.
Oh, my goodness.
He came to serve and volley, it clipped the top of the net. Djokovic then got out the way thinking it was going to go wide.
15.
Instead, it clipped the inside sideline and drops in.
Another serve volley. He could have. It looked like it was going out. Got to be... Yeah, it was dropped right on the line. Sort of
he actually took his racket away, didn't he?
Yeah, it was going to be a tricky one. It was bobbled sort of over his racket, didn't it? Slowly.
Game point, serve down the tee, stretch on the backhand down the line. That was deep from Alcaraz. He goes drop shot. Doesn't make it. Does not make the drop shot. He looks to his box as if to say...
That was the time to do the drop shot.
Leads 3 games.
Barely misses those ones.
He did on that occasion, but he's still got the lead in the break. 25 minutes played, 3-2 with the break. If you're just joining us, lovely to have your company. Men's final from Melbourne. Novak Djokovic flew out the blocks, took the first set 6-2. Just to plan your Sunday, and Premier League Sunday with Steve Crossman's going to follow us here on 5 Live. It's going to feature commentary of Manchester United against Fulham at 2. That'll be followed by Tottenham against Manchester City at 4:30. Aston Villa against Brentford, that's going to be on Sports Extra. Nottingham Forest against Crystal Palace is on Sports Extra 2. They are both 2 o'clock kickoffs. I feel like I should get you to get a pen and paper before I start rattling this off, but we will keep reminding you of what's happening where and when. And the top of the table match between Manchester City and Chelsea in the WSL, that is live on the iPlayer and BBC One from 2:05. Local time here, it is 8:45 on a Sunday night. It's probably the coldest day of the 2 weeks.
Oh, definitely, since I've been here. I'm just glad I packed for all weathers. You know, I have brought about 4 different types of jacket, and I think I've brought and used every single one of them.
You've got a fleece, you've got a full-on.
I've got fleece.
It's colder in here.
Yeah, exactly. I brought my umbrella today, and I needed that because it was raining when I left the hotel, and it stopped.
Russell's not giving me a cuddle, warm-up cuddle.
Oh, really?
Actually, you only have to ask for a cuddle.
The night is young.
At any
so
time.
much better. Oh, thanks. Head massage?
Ooh.
Pushing it, okay.
Have you washed your hair?
I did last month.
Things that go on in the commentary box. To the centre of the box, the off backhand from Djokovic. Djokovic, double-handed backhand through the middle of the court. The off forehand is a winner from the world number 1.
15 love.
Alcaraz has the same routine, gathers 3 balls, sort of juggles them, discards one, then stares at the others, and gets rid of another, and then he's ready. Serve down the tee, the slap back long. Alcaraz had to duck out the way so he didn't get hit.
Yeah, he's just not quite on top of those returns as much as he was in that first set. Just catching it a little bit later. And that could be to do with the legs, couldn't it?
Yeah,
what do you think?
I think so. I think both players are kind of suffering out here. There might be a bit of up and down and as far as energy is concerned.
49.
We know what Novak's like, though. Just keep going and going.
Game points, looking for a second love hold.
There's no ranting at his box or anything.
No,
yet,
not at all.
I think he's conserving every bit of energy he can.
I think so.
I'm sure we'll get that at some point.
Yep.
So that's a second clean hold for the Spaniard in his second set, and he eases his way to 40.
Alcaraz leads 4 games to 2.
I feel we've got a lot more Spaniards in here than we have out there, because every time we see Garden Square, which is the sort of the central hub with the big screen, it's just full of Serbian flags.
And there's a lot of flags out there.
It could be because the Spanish fans bought their tickets in advance, assuming he would be here.
Yeah, I think you're right. Spot on there. Yeah, the Serbians were like, oh, we hope Novak gets here, but I'm not buying finals tickets, just in case. I think he's as enthusiastic and how much belief they have in Novak. I think they're a bit along the lines of everybody else. It's like, yeah, I'm not sure if we make the final. It's proven us wrong so far.
Here he is. Djokovic is starting to gesture a little bit to his box.
Yeah, it's a bad backhand there from Alcaraz. Come on, he's got Djokovic 4-2. Making some unforced errors, looking a little little tired. Easy backhand return, 146 mile an hour, k an hour. Not even mile an hour, k an hour under the backhand, middle of the net.
First serve misses.
Pile of pressure on right now.
Second serve, he's still standing away back. The 22-year-old, he keeps his position, plays the backhand, pushes it very deep. It's flattened out cross court and wide by Djokovic.
What's interesting, Alcaraz standing all the way back has nullified Novak's big second serve. He figures, well, it's a risk to go his big second serves, which are successful. Usually when somebody's standing in a normal position, will rush them. But if Carlos is all the way back there, it's not really going to bother him. So Novak sort of, at the moment, sort of thrown that big second serve out the window and said, well, what's the point?
Lovely first serve that time, finding the court. He switches the play cross court. The sliding backhand winner. What balance, what poise, what precision from Carlos Alcaraz.
I think there was a little slight hesitation from Novak, because I think he thought about coming forward, decided against it, and by the time he'd made up his mind to stay back, his body weight was kind of going backwards.
Well, Carlos could have thought the same thing. It was like a passing shot, that one. It wasn't a hard, flat. It wasn't like a normal ground stroke when the guys at the back of the court.
Oh, Rafa Nadal was applauding that from the stands. Appreciating what he's seeing, probably wishes he was out there. 15-30, make that 15-40, and points for a double break. Convert this. The world number one will be serving to split sets in the men's final.
I just feel like Djokovic just lost a bit of energy out here. It's not to say he won't get it back again, but just doesn't look quite so energised in terms of the application.
Break points. 15-40. First serve, he gets the first serve. He's sort of blocked back.
That's a pretty game, isn't it?
40.
Still got another break point to work with here. Some gesturing from the Djokovic box. He ignores them. He's at the opposite end to them.
No, he's one of those big serves down the tee that worked so well in the semi-final and in the first set. Hits the line, skids away.
Here comes the first serve, misses it down, yanks it down the tee, back through the middle of the court, but he nets.
That was a horrible game.
Wow, it's chalk and cheese, isn't it? The two sets from Novak.
Yeah, Ross, it feels, and we're still looking at the movement and the energy levels of both, because what they went through in the semi-final and the time they've had to recover. But it's been night and day from Novak Djokovic from the first to the second set.
Yes, Alcaraz is better in the second set, isn't he? But he's not as good as we expect him to be. But Novak Djokovic's level has just fallen off a cliff. And I'm with you, Pat. I think we shouldn't forget what happened on Friday. Occasionally you do see players like in 2012 when Novak Djokovic was 14 years younger play 5 hours against Andy Murray in the semi-final and nearly 6 hours to beat Rafa Nadal in the final here. But when one has played 5 hours and 53 minutes in 30-degree heat and high humidity and cramped, and the other one is 38 and has been playing for 4 hours and 9 minutes until 1:30 in the morning, and you were telling us early, Gigi, not going to bed till 6 a.m, I think we can expect that actually this may not be the best quality Grand Slam final of all time.
No.
It might be the most historic Grand Slam final of all time, though, and if it's full of errors and it's close all the way, it could be one of the more thrilling ones.
There you go. Could still be in for a thriller. Everything's still to play for. Djokovic is just waiting. Now we'll get up.
I don't know, I just feel like just watching him, you know, when he walked out onto the court and played that absolutely perfect first set, there was some sort of electricity about and sparkle about the way he was moving, walking, everything he was doing, but it just gone a little flat.
Very flat. He probably does need a roar at his team.
Yeah.
That would fire up a bit. Might not be too worried about this set. Might see some roaring early in the next one.
4 points from the set. Thought about serving and volleying Alcaraz, but he stayed back and then had to go on the stretch, and he squeaked his shoes, played the forehand and missed, and it's love 15. So 4 balls down to 3. He juggles them all the time, stares at them intently, gets down to the one he's going to use. 5-2, love 15. An hour and 7 minutes on the match clock. A quick look up from Alcaraz. Djokovic is on the baseline, plays the backhand.
Missed return. That's several now clocking up those errors, and the ball is leaving his strings pretty quickly. He's not reading it so well. That's something he's going to have to look out for in this match. Can't afford too many more of those.
all 5-2. Serve out wide. Forehand is slapped wide. Cross court. Djokovic sort of trudging from side to side now. No.
He's kind of almost resigned to this set, isn't he? I don't think he wants to waste too much more energy in this set.
Let's get it done. 2 points and the job will be done. And Alcaraz is nodding. He'll be giving us a huge vamos should he close this out. Serve down the tee, drops over. Alcaraz says, thank you very much. 1-2 punch. Damage done with the serve.
14,
set points.
15.
First of 2 set points for the world number 1 to level us up at a set apiece. First serve goes down the tee. Here it is. It's the point, the game, the roar, and the set. It's game on the Rod Laver Arena. Once again, the Spanish flags fly as Carlos Alcaraz flips the script and the scoreline. Djokovic 6-2 in the first, Alcaraz 6-2 in the second. So it's game on here in Melbourne, the Rod Laver Arena, as Novak Djokovic takes his leave from the court. He's going to have a kit change, a rethink, and he will return, as will we, after we get the news on 5 Live with Bethan Holmes.
The voice of the UK.
This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
Sir Keir Starmer says Andrew Mountbatten-Windsor should testify before a US investigation into the late sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. New files released have raised further questions about the links between them. The former prince has always strongly denied all allegations of any wrongdoing. Meanwhile, a second woman has alleged she was sent to the UK by Epstein to have sex with Andrew Mountbatten-Windsor. Her lawyer says he was communicating with his legal team, but that stopped after his titles were removed last year. We've asked for comments on the latest accusations. Donald Trump says Iran is talking seriously to his administration about a deal to prevent Tehran from developing nuclear weapons, as the threat of a major US attack remains. The Iranian supreme leader has warned if the US does attack, it'll lead to a regional war. And the Rafah border crossing between Gaza and Egypt has partially reopened for the first time since May 2024. But the BBC's Gaza correspondent says it's unclear if anyone will be allowed to leave today.
Skis cutting through snow at breathtaking speed. Snowboards spinning in ways never seen before. Skeleton sleds pushing the limits. Making history, breaking records, and taking home gold. Trails will blaze. The Winter Olympics starts Friday. Watch on iPlayer. Listen on BBC Sounds.
The Australian Open Singles Finals on 5 Live Sports
and BBC Sounds.
Welcome back to Melbourne Park, to the final match of the Australian Open. And Russell and I joined in the commentary box by Annabelle Croft and Pat Cash. And Russ, a very interesting conversation, and he's still going on about it, the world number 1, with the chair umpire John Blom, about the roof.
It's not very open, is it? And they often do this in Melbourne when it's very, very hot. If it's not too hot to close the roof, it will be at least a half or even 3/4 closed. And today it's 3/4 closed. And it's either raining or it's not. It's not raining. I think, therefore, if it's an outdoor tournament, you should play it with an open roof. And he would like to see it open properly, which would make it windier inside the arena, which perhaps he thinks, Pat, would be in his favour.
Well, I think so. It's...
He's now speaking to Wayne McEwen, the supervisor.
Well, they know what the forecast is. A bit like the All England Club, they know what possible weather might be coming, and he's having a little chat. But I agree with you 100%. If it's not, certainly we had a quick look up. The cameras had a quick look up. Didn't look like it was going to rain. It was just a few clouds.
We can't see the roof from where we are because we're under the eaves, but it's possible that they've closed it a bit more.
We've just seen shots.
It was actually moving, was it?
And there's almost it's just a tiny little gap.
So they're anticipating rain, I suppose.
He's very upset about this.
It's neither here nor there. I think at the way it is, you just close it at this stage because there's just a tiny little gap. It's not really. There you go. We're seeing on our monitors the gap. And Craig Tiley, tournament director, I don't know if he's on the phone to the roof people or he's having a chat with someone else, but clearly, Pat, Carlos Alcaraz is very animated about the situation as we've got another couple of minutes till Novak Djokovic is due back.
Yeah, I mean, couldn't really say who it's benefiting at the moment because both sets have gone either way easily. So you could say, well, certainly the roof open benefited Novak in the first set and the second set. But when it's windy, you need a bit extra footwork. But now it's pretty much an indoor tournament, and we know how good Novak Djokovic is indoors when it's nice and still. Maybe that's
many thanks. Coming back. Thank you.
on Carlos's mind to say, well, wait a minute, you just made this in.
Ladies and
suit
gentlemen,
Novak's
take your seats. Mr. Djokovic
favourite surface in indoors, still hard court.
Gosh, they don't normally re-announce the player onto court, do they? But Mr. Djokovic is returning to the Rod Laver Arena.
I've never heard that.
With his weekend bag on his left shoulder, a new top on, possibly new shorts. He'll have done a little bit of thinking while he was away having a change. New balls, just letting him know what the situation is. Alcaraz is up the side with his team, so he's no longer going on about the roof. There we go, he knows it's new balls. So the Spaniard is fine with new balls. His team are on their feet. The roof is now being opened a little bit more. The gap has got a touch bigger.
Novak Djokovic to serve.
So we'll keep an eye on the roof. They have split the first two sets with the 5 Live tennis team live from Melbourne.
Did you say it got bigger?
Yeah.
So they closed it and then they opened it up again.
Please,
they opened a little bit. It was quite a small gap. It came a slightly bigger gap.
It's an unusual scoreline, this, isn't it, for a final? 6-2 sets.
Thank you. Both guys are just are suffering. You can see they're both struggling with energy, and it's going to be a bit like that. We're going to see ebbs and flows throughout this match. Somebody gets fired up for a few minutes and then gets a bit tired.
So one set all in the final, and it's Novak Djokovic beginning set number 3, hitting to the forehand of Carlos Alcaraz. Backhand cross-court from Djokovic, trying to inject some new life into this match at the start of the third set and after the bathroom break, but he does the serve there, put his backhand into the net.
That was a bit of a weary-looking backhand to end that last point. And he definitely needs to reassert himself in this match and send some signals down at the beginning of this third set.
Love 15. Opening game of set number 3 here on 5 Live this Sunday morning. And BBC Sounds live from Melbourne with the 5 Live tennis team. Djokovic wide with the forehand. And so far the bathroom break has not helped him rediscover the magic of set number 1.
No, he looks a little weary, I'm going to be honest. Even the walk has changed.
Love 30. He says he was trying to motivate himself in pre-season, which is not easy when you're entering your 21st or 22nd season on the tour, by thinking about playing Jannik Sinner or Carlos Alcaraz in the latter stages of a Grand Slam to try and drive him in practice. He's got a short return here. Djokovic will play the drop shot, reached by Alcaraz. Djokovic with a lob. Alcaraz sprinting to the baseline. Here's the tweener. It's a really good one. Djokovic with the overhead volley, which is a winner.
Wow.
Well, let's go take the sting out of Carlos's legs, that one.
I think there was slight panic there from Djokovic, who was controlling that point, and suddenly Alcaraz turned it around, got the crowd involved, and Djokovic gesturing to his camp, saying something to them, shaking his head.
It's a very good drop shot and very clever from Alcaraz, just sort of dropping it down to the toes of Novak. And you're face to face there, and Novak's decided, okay, I'll flip it over his head. And he actually hit a tweener, a really good one, and Novak had a really tricky, high, wide forehand volley, which he controlled really nicely. It was an easy one to miss.
15-30. Second serve for Djokovic. Forehand return, shanked by Alcaraz. A long way behind the baseline again there to receive.
One of his rare, sort of big, hard second serves down the middle. Did a couple in the first set. Alcaraz changed his position to go further back to nullify that. But after a really brutal rally, your legs are a bit dead. So Djokovic is just so clever. Just said, I'll just throw this one in, see how your footwork is now after those sprints you just did.
40-30 Djokovic as Alcaraz puts the forehand cross-court return into the net.
Well, apart from that sort of difficult volley he made, he hasn't had to do too much to get back on track in this service game. He'll be quite relieved. I just think there's such a marked contrast in how his body language was in that first set. Everything about him just looks a little subdued.
Djokovic from love 30 now has a game point. Forehand return Alcaraz. Djokovic with the forehand into the net. And that was another very, very tired-looking stroke.
Yeah, it was. And even the way he reacted off the back of it, it's all about, it's everything, isn't it? The body language, it's the shoulders and the walk and the head and everything. It's just come, I don't know, it's just like subdued.
Footwork.
Yeah.
It's all down to footwork. Just didn't quite get into the position.
But Alcaraz down the other end is hardly looking full of the joys of spring either. Good serve by Djokovic. His off forehand. Alcaraz stretching for the backhand. It's long. Game point Djokovic.
I think we've all learnt, haven't we, over the years, that even if Djokovic looks on the ropes, he has an ability to just bounce back and just keep digging and fighting and
hanging in there, yeah. And I think Carlos will be pretty aware of that. That's why he missed that backhand there and he yelled at himself. Wants to try and get Novak now while he's a little flat.
Djokovic has the advantage, missing the first serve. They're looking at the moment a little bit like two heavyweight boxers in the last minute of those old 15-round contests they used to have. Second serve Djokovic, trying to close out the opening game of the third set on 5 Live. Backhand cross-court from Alcaraz. Djokovic down the line with the backhand. Alcaraz with more pace on the forehand cross-court. Well defended by Djokovic, and Alcaraz nets. It's error after error. The guesswork is wondering whose racket it's going to come from.
First game, third serve.
Djokovic holds.
I think he's spot on, Russ. What your explanation of this match? There's going to be two players retired, and there's going to be a bunch of errors. Just who can less error? Going to be very, very exciting.
Now we're seeing Djokovic leaning over and looking like he's in a little bit of discomfort as he roots through his bag. But again, he likes to let us know he's struggling, just putting it out there if people have not listened to our commentaries on Novak Djokovic before.
Well, he got a little white tub out. Looks like one of those tubs that you have taramasalata in or something. And I don't know what he's just put in his mouth.
There's plenty of good Greek food in Melbourne, so why not?
But I think he was handed by the ball girl that metal thing.
No, that was an energy bar. He threw it on the seat and then had a chomp of it. So
he
just
had that sort of metal
nutrition.
Something out of the little white tub, and then he had a bite of the bar.
Yeah, it's his own. Has his own food, especially made for him for these occasions. It's very clever. This player's just chomping to a local banana.
Alcaraz serving now, hits the forehand cross-court. Djokovic with the forehand to the Alcaraz forehand. Backhand cross-court, Djokovic slice backhand from Alcaraz. Both men just behind the baseline, 2 or 3 feet behind those thick white lines. Backhand from Alcaraz. Djokovic with more power, drills the backhand into the corner. And now the forehand Djokovic, he comes forward. And Alcaraz with a passing shot. Great disguise with the backhand cross-court winner. And it's met by applause from Novak Djokovic.
And that last rally is going to hurt. I wonder whether Alcaraz is sensing how fatigued Djokovic is down the other end and just decided to take a little bit out of the ball but extend the rally. One of the more extended rallies, that last one. And those are the ones that kind of mount up, aren't they, if you're feeling heavy-legged anyway.
Alcaraz pointing his right index finger to the sky in celebration after winning that point. He's netted a first serve here. 15 love, but love won. Backhand from Djokovic. Alcaraz with a forehand cross-court. It looked like it was into open court. It was well directed, but notably Djokovic did not attempt to run for it.
Definitely not. That was just too much, and I think if he had attempted it, wouldn't have won the point, but then he would have wasted more energy out of the legs. But legs have definitely gone quite heavy.
Yeah, he's just managing his energy, isn't he, Novak, as best he can. I think they both are, actually.
30 love Alcaraz, forehand return Djokovic. Alcaraz with the backhand cross court, that's got Djokovic running. There's the lob from him. Smash Alcaraz, back to the forehand of Djokovic who nets. With a slap from fully 10 feet behind the baseline.
40 love.
Oh, going for the haymaker there.
Alcaraz was talking before the semi-final against Alex Zverev, when he had been playing some absolutely brilliant tennis, about the level he was achieving, and he said he was delighted with the way he was playing, but thought maybe not quite as good as the US Open last August and September, which he described as unmatchable, suggesting he might struggle to play as well as he did in those 2 weeks in New York ever again. Dropped just the one set there, and that was to Jannik Sinner in the 4-set final. Forehand return shanked by Djokovic. So a love hole for Alcaraz. 1 game all, third set.
1 game all.
Well, I think this is going to take a lot for Djokovic to find that energy again. I don't know whether what he's just eaten is going to reinvigorate him in time, but it's certainly got, I don't know, a sense of inevitability if Alcaraz just keeps going like this. I feel like he's got way more energy in his legs.
Well, Novak's he's got to get the serve working. He's missing too many first serves. That was his saviour in this last match.
And in the first set here, dropping just 2 points on serve. But the number's not quite so clever now as he misses the first set there. First serve there. Second serve now for Djokovic to the backhand of Alcaraz. In towards his body. Drop shot from Djokovic, and Alcaraz was so far behind the baseline. He trotted towards the baseline before giving up on chasing down that safely played but well executed drop shot. So Djokovic has 15 love. Has shown great powers of recovery and resilience throughout his career, but so too has Carlos Alcaraz. Very capable, you would think, of backing up. A 5-hour, 27-minute match. Forehand from Alcaraz, and down the line with the winner, Djokovic.
Wow.
There you go, that's been missing for a set.
Yeah. Well, remember against Sinner, when he was down a set, he just suddenly started to blast the ball and put so much power behind it, hitting some of the hardest shots I'd ever seen him hit. And I wonder whether he's going to start doing a little bit more of that right now.
Yeah, if he's got the energy. He's hitting it so cleanly and easily in the first set, but you're right, absolutely. When he lost that first set to Sinner, just up the power.
Djokovic has 30 love.
He's struggling. We'll go for this.
Alcaraz plays a squash shot forehand and it goes long. The red lights flash either side of the net post.
40 love.
And it's triple game point for Novak Djokovic. This to keep us on serve, early stages of the third set. So Djokovic up to the baseline, wipes the sweat away with a sweatband. He's got a green sweatband on the left wrist, a white one on the right, wipes the sweat away with a green one, starts the bouncing. Game points. Alcaraz alongside the Melbourne sign. The serve misses out wide. Ball boy scurries forward, scoops up that loose ball, retakes his position. Game points. Serve down the tee. Oh, it's a big, heavy serve that goes down the tee. It does the job. And it is a love hold. So, how are we feeling about how they are feeling at this stage of this match? We've talked about the errors, the sloppiness. We've seen flashes of brilliance. Where are you both at mentally with this contest?
Well, I said, I think there's going to be some ups and downs in this match. When energy comes back and you know, the players will go for it. Novak clearly started hitting the ball harder in that game there. and served really well. Interestingly, he saw Alcaraz creeped up on that second serve there to attack it instead of going back, and Novak fired in that big first serve. So he's fully aware of what he needs to do. It's just whether the feet from either player can get into the rhythm and enable them to be consistent.
Now you're listening to the Men's Australian Open singles final on 5 Live. Welcome if you're just joining us. Good morning. Hope your Sunday is going well. If you do need to go out and about for pleasure, might be a family thing, might be a sporting thing, the great thing is you can listen to us on the go via the BBC Sounds app. You scroll through the radio dial, you tap 5 Live, that's all you have to do. If you do have a smart speaker, I think most people have those these days, just ask it to play 5 Live. It should oblige. You will get us, you will get this, and you will get Russell Fuller.
Hopefully. I jinxed that, didn't I, by the conversation we were having at lunch.
Are you back?
I think so. Gigi was struggling a little bit with her voice midway through the tournament.
Yeah.
And there was one Grand Slam final about 10 years ago that I wasn't able to finish because my voice just went and I couldn't get it back. Backhand cross-court from Alcaraz. This is a spectacular start to this game. And despite Djokovic's best efforts, as he hits a backhand that ends up by the photographers to the side of the net post, Alcaraz has hit a forehand cross-court into the open court. And again, we see quite a smile over Djokovic's face, even though he's lost the point.
What a point that was. That was an unbelievable point. Djokovic had the ball around the net post for a clean winner, but no, Alcaraz got there.
15 love.
Flicked it back across court. I mean, that's the point of the match so far.
Please.
Well, I certainly energised in that point. I'm not sure how they're going to feel now after those chase downs.
Alcaraz, 15 love, spectacular stuff early in the third set here in Melbourne. Second serve, backhand cross-court from Djokovic. Djokovic with the forehand to the Alcaraz forehand. Djokovic down the line. Alcaraz goes cross-court with the backhand. Alcaraz backhand. Djokovic with the forehand, sitting up a little bit in the centre of the court. But how many times have we seen that before? Alcaraz blazing an off forehand a long way wide.
He's so good at guessing where the ball goes or predicting where it is. Novak, that short forehand, he skipped quickly to the left to cover his backhand. Carlos clearly saw that.
Thank you.
And he just pushed a little bit too hard. Looked like an easy... One of the rare times he didn't actually hold the ball and wait for the opponent to move.
15 all. Alcaraz at 1 set all, having dropped the first set 6-2, but taking the second by the same scoreline. Very deep serve that by Alcaraz, but Djokovic lands the return on the baseline. Alcaraz cross-court with a forehand. Djokovic down the line with a forehand. Alcaraz with a backhand cross-court. Backhand cross-court again from Alcaraz, and Djokovic goes long.
So disappointing missing that one, because as Pat has been saying, you know, he wants to neutralise the point and go back into that backhand side, and that would just feel like a wasted opportunity. Once you're into the point, you've neutralised the serve, wants to take advantage of it, but to give away a free unforced error like that.
Definitely looks better though this set, doesn't he, Novak, than the last one?
Definitely, yeah. Suddenly that energy bar or whatever he took has just kicked into gear, I think.
The intensity feels like it's increasing again.
Definitely.
With so much on the line. Forehand return from Djokovic to the forehand of Alcaraz. Djokovic with the forehand, Alcaraz backhand. They're both hitting down the centre. Now to the backhand of Djokovic. Djokovic has a forehand. Alcaraz on the move with a forehand into the net.
Well, this is the time he broke in that first set, wasn't it? When he was 2-1 up and then went for the break of serve to go 3-1. And Djokovic eyeing it up once again. The crowd sensing it. It's amazing how a big crowd like this can just sense the energy shifts and what's going on. They kind of ride the waves of emotion with the players.
Please, players are ready. Thank you.
The first shouts of
thank you.
No lay since the match began. And it's 30 all, and there is a chance here for their man on the Alcaraz serve. And Alcaraz has missed the first serve. Second serve Alcaraz at 30-all. Backhand Djokovic, forehand Alcaraz. Djokovic down the line with the backhand. Alcaraz just there. Djokovic steps inside the baseline. Forehand from Djokovic. Alcaraz with a forehand and on the back foot in this rally. Alcaraz cross-court with a forehand. Brilliant angle low and Djokovic net.
How did he do that?
He's almost out of the tunnel, Djokovic. He's thrown himself to try and get that ball back, but he's ended up in the tunnel where they come out.
40-30.
That's the danger if you go a little wide. Alcaraz, he's just able to hook that ball across court like the clay courters can do. Yannick Sinner couldn't do that the other night. And Alcaraz has the ability to be able to do that shot. Not to say Yannick can't do it, he just couldn't do it the other night.
Yeah.
So game point, Djokovic has returned to the court, having nearly disappeared down the tunnel. Came very close to getting his hands on the Norman Brooks Challenge Cup there.
Yeah, he did.
Which is sitting in the corner.
Yeah, he's had it enough times.
Give somebody else a chance. Forehand from Alcaraz. Djokovic with a forehand wide. So Alcaraz under pressure there, does hold. 2 games all, third set, with the two players level at 1 set all.
2 games all.
Couldn't have really played a better return game there, Novak, could he?
Yeah, and you know, well, he couldn't actually, but it's so interesting when you know, we're all studying their body language so closely, but you see Djokovic just go over to the towel and he's actually put one hand down to lean on the towel box area, and that tells you that those legs are hurting. You wouldn't normally do that if the legs are feeling okay. It's also when you notice a player using their racket to sort of prop themselves up, or when they're trying to get out of the change of ends chair, they'll kind of use their racket. And, you know, that extra burst of energy he used to try and get that ball back, which he ended up in the tunnel, he went very heavy-legged after he tried to pull up after that. So all of those things just have their, they take their toll.
2 games all. Djokovic serves into the net. The camera regularly panning towards Rafael Nadal, one of the faces in the crowd, and they finally got a smile out of him, I think, during that last game. Double fault from Djokovic.
He is weary. I hate to keep droning on about it, but he is.
He threw a lot into that last game. Not to say he knows he's got extra reserves. He's just got to hang in here, just stay in touch. And if he does here, he's actually in the lead. Get to 4-3. All of a sudden the pressure goes the other way.
Good serve here from Djokovic. He's got a fairly short put away, but now Alcaraz is back in this point. Passing chance, Alcaraz, and Djokovic's volley is into the net.
Oh, what a brilliant strike by Alcaraz. That should have been Djokovic's point. Alcaraz sharp onto every ball and really held his ground. Great balance with both legs, a knee bend, got some extra pace on it, and it was it beat Djokovic at the net there.
So love 30. Djokovic found himself love 30 down in the opening service game of this set. He serves now, and he serves into the net.
Please.
1 hour and 36 minutes played, so not a long match so far, but remember what they went through on Friday in those semi-finals. Forehand from Djokovic after Alcaraz return hits the baseline. Djokovic with some air on the forehand. Alcaraz backhand long.
50-30.
Well, that was a very frustrating miss if you are fans of the world #1 Alcaraz, who's trying to win a 7th Grand Slam title here, which would draw him level with Mats Wilander and John McEnroe. He'd be the youngest to win 7 Grand Slams in the men's game, and it would also help him complete the set of all 4 major championships, and he'd become the youngest in history. Don Budge also 22 at the French Championships, as they were called at the time, of 1938. But they were playing at Roland Garros by then. Djokovic serves the backhand of Alcaraz. Djokovic down the line, it's wide. 2 break points to Alcaraz.
50-40.
He's rushing a bit here, Djokovic, not waiting for the crowd to settle, already in position to serve.
Alcaraz with a chance to break for 3-2. And get himself ahead in the match for the first time. Forehand return. Djokovic hits the backhand. Alcaraz backhand. Djokovic with the forehand. Alcaraz cross-court with the forehand. He's now got Djokovic on the move. And Djokovic cannot make the forehand from there. Finally, the Spaniard hits the front. It's taken him an hour and 38 minutes. But having won the second set by 6-2, he has the break in the third and leads 3-2, Gigi.
It's a tough one, isn't it? Because I know, Annabelle, you just said I don't want to keep going on about this, but we are the eyes of the people listening, and it's quite clear that there's been an almost dramatic energy drop.
I think so. I mean, that's how I see it at the moment. I think you just look at little signs. You know, you look at the walk, you look at how he's responding. Like I said, when he went over to the towel box and he leant on the towel box with his left arm and then went to get the towel, that is a sign that the legs are heavy and you're trying to alleviate the pressure on the legs. And I've also noticed you know, Pat had talked about how much he's been targeting the backhand and staying away from that venomous forehand that has so much electricity on it, with all that rotation and heaviness, the way he hits it. It's like concrete coming through the court. But suddenly, when he's pulled out wide, he's going into that forehand cross-court that is doing so much damage, and he can't quite get behind the ball, and I feel like that's hurting him a lot.
Yeah, he's not as accurate tonight, Novak, when he's going into the he's going into first two things. First of all, he's going into the backhand, and Alcaraz is missing now. I think that's the difference. And then when he gets the short ball on the forehand, where he's been nailing them, he's not as accurate. And so that gives Carlos, even if he may be a bit tired, gives him the opportunity to get across there and get the ball back. We know how good he is when he's in the defensive position. He hits it really hard back in the other corner, and then Novak's on the run.
So Carlos Alcaraz does now have the advantage. It's still a very slender one. It's a really good first serve, and the backhand on the stretch is blocked over the baseline by Djokovic. Just to underline how extraordinary it would be if Djokovic wins this title, to compare him with the greats of recent times and Roger Federer and Rafael Nadal. Federer was 36.5 when he won his final slam. Alcaraz forehand onto the baseline, forehand from Djokovic. Djokovic with the drop shot, slice backhand drop shot. It's really well played, and now the lob volley from Djokovic. Alcaraz is running back and tries the spectacular cross court, and it was a one-bounce forehand into the net. And Alcaraz can see the funny side of that. Briefly at least, concentration etched all over his face again now. So yeah, Federer 36.5 when he won the Australian Open of 2018, and Nadal just 36 when he won his final Grand Slam at Roland Garros. Djokovic will be 39 in May. Alcaraz serving to the backhand of Djokovic. Really good return, forcing Alcaraz back behind the baseline. Forehand Alcaraz. Djokovic down the line and wide.
Didn't miss those last night, did he?
I was just going to say, those were the ones he was making against Sinner.
And also, the first set,
and the first set, exactly. Yeah, he's giving away way more unforced errors now and free points. You know, and that builds up in terms of momentum for Alcaraz as well. He's also not up against the same opponent. You know, Alcaraz was the one missing in that first set. A few nerves, you know, just wasn't quite, you know, on top of his game. But now he's got a very different opponent to face.
It was like the first set at Wimbledon final, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Alcaraz was all sorts. Oh, double fault.
Gives a bit of encouragement to Djokovic.
And it's these kind of points in that second set where it got to 30-all and you thought, oh, he has a chance to maybe break here. And he was missing the return to serve at this kind of scoreline juncture.
So 30-all. And Alcaraz is not locked into the extent where you would trust that he is going to serve out this set. Here's an opportunity for Djokovic. Forehand return. Alcaraz with the forehand winner. No messing there.
40-30.
Game point for a 4-2 lead now for Alcaraz, who's only ever lost one Grand Slam final. of the 7 he's previously been in. The return from Djokovic is good. Backhand cross-court from Alcaraz, and Djokovic nets at full stretch, almost doing the splits, and Alcaraz holds for 4-2.
Well, he's leaning on his towel box once again, using his right hand this time, and almost doubled over. And when he went for that last shot, we're so admiring normally of his footwork to get into absolute perfect positions of balance. Looks like a skier skiing down the mountain, but that time he just planted the feet and then he wasn't in the right position and just lunged at it. Didn't have the energy for that extra step.
Two-4. One or two people daring to leave the arena, others coming back in. Rod Laver Arena with the roof semi-open on a cool Sunday night in Melbourne. Djokovic is in at the net, lets it bounce, puts the forehand away to take the first point on serve. Tennis Australia have thrown everything at this final weekend of the Australian Open, including getting Sophie Ellis-Bextor to perform Murder on the Dance Floor just before the final. Forehand return from Alcaraz. Alcaraz on the move with a forehand to the Djokovic forehand. Backhand from Alcaraz. Djokovic bossing this point for the moment. Great deep hitting from him. Fabulous defence from Alcaraz. Gets another forehand back in play. Djokovic on top of the net. Backhand volley. Alcaraz will get there. Slide it cross court. Djokovic will go down the line. Alcaraz with a forehand into the open court. Breathtaking stuff.
Listen to that reaction. There are people standing on their feet giving a standing ovation after that one. That was a magnificent point. Just what Grand Slam finals need.
15 Carlos is looking down the other end. He's got eyeballing Djokovic there. Didn't take his eyes off him when they both went for the towel. He just wants to know where Djokovic is at physically.
Yeah.
And Carlos did most of the running in that rally, but Novak still did quite a lot.
It was a wonderful point, wasn't it?
2-4, 15 all. Djokovic serving down the tee, backhand from Alcaraz, and a forehand winner from Djokovic.
I feel like he's going to introduce the tactics he did against Sinner, where he's just going to start stamping on everything, just hammering it with all his might, you know, give it one last roll of the dice out here.
Yeah, he is, isn't he?
Can he recover from a break of serve down in this third set? And if not, can he recover from 2 sets to 1 down to win a 25th Grand Slam singles title? Great serve down the tee. Ace Djokovic.
40-15.
Two-game points for Djokovic as he serves at 40-15. Forehand from Alcaraz long. Excellent serving there from the 10-time Australian Open champion. And he keeps in touch with Alcaraz, whose advantage is 4-3, but does have that one service break. So it was fun being in Melbourne today, wasn't it? The anticipation of the final, but there's always a lot going on here at the weekends, Annabelle.
Well, I just went for a wonderfully long walk in the Botanical Gardens, which I know is where Djokovic often spends a lot of time and finds his special tree. Don't know whether he made it in there today, probably not. As Pat said, he probably spent a lot of time in bed, I should think, resting as much as possible before a late final here this evening, and after such a late finish the other night. But yeah, it was funny weather today. I mean, it started out sunny, then it went very grey and overcast, very windy, very chilly later on. And we've had all 4 seasons today, I think.
Gigi and I were listening to a Nick Cave sound check, weren't we, in the apartment we're staying, with the windows open as we were making our match notes for the final.
I know, I actually bumped into a university friend who'd flown from Singapore to come and see Nick Cave in the bad seats, who performed for 3 days. And at one point, we were in the apartment. I said, "What is that awful noise?" And it was Nick Cave doing his sound.
I hope he can't hear you.
Yeah, and then my friend said, "What song was he singing?" I said, "I don't know." Just kind of like a noise.
Sounded like a racket.
It did.
That's the whole point of a sound check. Checking the sound. It's not supposed to be perfect.
Sorry, Pat.
You trying to get a free ticket there?
No,
free
definitely
concert?
not. No.
Free concert from the balcony of your apartment?
Definitely not.
Alcaraz 2 games away from taking a 2-1 lead in the final, the Australian Open men's singles final on 5 Live. BBC Sounds, Djokovic with the forehand, Alcaraz with the heavy forehand to the Djokovic forehand. A little bit less pace on this forehand approach by Alcaraz. Djokovic on the baseline, swings the forehand cross-court. Down the line with the forehand, Djokovic. Slice backhand cross-court, Alcaraz. Djokovic nets.
Slice back in, beautiful slice back in.
Love.
Defensive, but very much Roger Federer's type slice back in, short and wide into the service box. Just testing out Novak. Having to go wide down the line over the high part of the net, and he had to go for that because he was way out of position.
Yeah, Djokovic leaning down once again and just sort of checking the front of his legs.
Forehand return from Djokovic. Drop shot, Alcaraz. It's perfect.
Sort of rubbing his shins he was a little bit before that point.
Surprised he's got any shins at all after that last match he played.
Yeah.
I mean, we think of how many matches he's actually played coming into this tournament. It's not an awful lot for Novak. It's not like he's match toughened. His body's match toughened. And the emotion of the last match.
Forehand, hit cross-court by Alcaraz. Straight back to Djokovic, who's found the line with a forehand cross-court winner.
No messing around.
No.
30-15.
I think he's going to start just teeing off on a lot of balls just to keep it as short as possible. I don't think those legs have got too many long rallies.
And that's the other side of the coin, isn't it, that you were pointing out there, Pat? Nice to have had an easy second week with a win by retirement and a match he didn't need to play because of a walkover, but he wasn't able to play Adelaide because he wasn't quite physically ready. So he's just had 4.5 matches heading into this Australian Open final. He's on the run, hits a forehand cross-court. Alcaraz is there with a volley and Djokovic wide with a backhand cross-court.
40-15.
And they're the ones that really test you out if you're a bit tired. The really sharp movements when the guys are at the net. You have to move really quickly. Get your feet into perfect position.
2 game points to move 5-3 in front in this third set, Alcaraz. He sends a first serve into the net. Second serve. Game point. Backhand reply, down the line from Djokovic, very well directed. Forehand cross-court from Djokovic, who's coming forward. Here's the smash. And it was right back at Alcaraz, but it was hit fairly quickly into the ground after clearing the net. And Alcaraz's not quite tall enough. Leaping at 6 foot tall, was not quite able to make contact with the ball.
He so nearly did.
He pulled that off.
He kind of leapt up to it and he just missed it by about an inch. I mean, it was, if he'd made it, it would have been a shocker for Djokovic. He should have smashed the other way.
So had he been 6'1", he might have made it.
He might have made it.
He got the, probably would have hit the frame of the racket.
1 game point remaining. Forehand return, Djokovic down the line, just wide. Oh, he did not want to see those net posts flash red because the game goes to Alcaraz, who leads 5-3.
And Annabelle's right, he's not messing around. He sees a half a chance, he's just swinging hard, Novak, with all the energy he can. He's not quite as accurate as he was in the semi-final match when he was doing that. And that one just missed. But no more long rallies. I mean, he'll re-energise. He'll have bursts where he'll go, really toe-to-toe with Carlos, but when he really needs to on a big point, but the rest of the time I think he's going to try and pull the trigger a bit early, which is always a risk.
Serving to stay in the third set then. 3-5 down, Djokovic. Misses the first serve down the tee. Green top, black shorts, double fault Djokovic.
Yeah, and that's legs, isn't it? The more serves that he's missing, and then you can see they're sinking down into that second serve, just not using those legs.
Four hours and 9 minutes against Jannik Sinner in the semi-final, beating the champion of the last 2 years in 5 sets. Djokovic to the forehand of Alcaraz. Djokovic with the forehand. Alcaraz backhand cross-court. Djokovic down the centre with the backhand. Off forehand Alcaraz. Much more weight on that backhand cross-court from Djokovic, who's now, frustratingly for all of Serbia, netting on the forehand. He said after winning that match in a news conference that took place not in the usual news press conference room, but down near the locker rooms, that it was a win that almost equals winning a Grand Slam, and you knew exactly what he meant. It was a sensational performance and an incredible result, but the question has always been, can he possibly beat Sinner and Alcaraz back-to-back to win a Grand Slam? There's a drop shot from Djokovic, and his volley is into the net, and Alcaraz, 16 years his junior, has 3 set points for a 2-1 lead in the final. Set point number 1. Djokovic serves. And serves long. Second serve. First of 3 set points to Alcaraz. Backhand cross-court return. Djokovic with the backhand down the line. The Alcaraz forehand flicks the tape and lands in, and now Djokovic is on top. Here's his forehand into the corner. Alcaraz gets one more ball back, and an athletic leap, albeit still looking a little bit weary by Djokovic. It's the jump smash cross-court to save set point number 1.
Everything's coming back, isn't it? I mean, all of his best shots now. I mean, he's hurling himself at it, hammer and tong, but a lot of these balls he's been made to play the extra shot, which again is just taking out more energy from those legs. No celebration after that one. Just a weary walk back to the baseline.
Set point number 2 for Alcaraz. Backhand return. Djokovic with the forehand. Alcaraz forehand. Djokovic cross-court with the forehand. Alcaraz with the squash shot forehand, which is 2 or 3 feet over the baseline.
30-14.
Well, there has been a Grand Slam final with a bigger age gap between players. 16 years between these two. There was nearly 18 years between Ken Rosewall and Jimmy Connors when they met twice in 1974, but as Pat Cash was saying yesterday, you could tell it in the scoreline because both were straightforward victories for 21-year-old Jimmy Connors, as he was at the time. This is the 3rd set point for Alcaraz. And Djokovic has saved them all. An ace.
Oh, where did that come from? Beautiful rhythm on that serve and hit the corner junction. Got the crowd going.
Pat Cash, Wimbledon champion, twice a runner-up here alongside Annabelle Croft in the 5 Live BBC Sounds commentary box in Melbourne. Backhand reply from Alcaraz. He's still 2 points away from the set, and it's 1 point again because a drop shot applauded by Djokovic will give the Spaniard set point number 4.
I mean, he was Lazarus in his semi-final match, saving so many break points.
16 of the 18 that Sinner created. Astonishing statistic. Forehand return from Alcaraz. Long. The set goes on. Four minutes shy of 2 hours on the clock. Deuce. Alcaraz 5-3 up. Looking in either this game or in his own serve in the next to move into a 2-1 lead and take him a set away from completing the Grand Slam of all 4 major championships. Forehand from Djokovic cross-court. That's a brilliant angle. And Alcaraz gives it everything. It sends it almost scuffling along the court and into the net.
A safe return, wasn't it, from Alcaraz? Just sort of rolled the ball back in the middle of the court, hoping that Novak would make a mistake. And I think that was Sinner's mistake in the semi-final. Just sort of waiting for the opponent to make a mistake, hoping that, and waiting for Novak to make a mistake. It didn't come.
So Djokovic with the advantage. Misses the tee serve. Second serve is to the backhand of Alcaraz, who's a long way behind that baseline again. Djokovic down the line with a forehand. Alcaraz cross-court, and Djokovic wide.
Deuce.
So a third deuce in a game in which Djokovic has saved 4 set points.
He doesn't even have the energy to get angry out here, does he? I mean, no reaction whatsoever from Novak. Just kind of... Oh, well, don't know what he said then.
Come on, Novak.
Oh, OK, I couldn't hear.
3-5 deuce. Good serve from Djokovic down the tee. Alcaraz with a high forehand over the baseline.
Advantage.
Commanding Djokovic. Point from Djokovic.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you call out during the point, you will be sent out, and that will ruin your night. Please don't do it.
Good point, and I wish they would do that.
Well done.
He does have quite an entertaining way of getting his instructions across, does John Blom. Advantage Djokovic, misses the first serve. I know he enjoyed having to ask people to refrain from popping champagne corks at Wimbledon when one exploded onto the court that he was umpiring a few years back. Forehand, cross-court, netted by Djokovic, deuce number 4. Much less for the umpires to do these days, given that we have electronic line calling. They may be asked to adjudicate on a video review. The players have the right to do that, to challenge certain things like, did the ball bounce twice? Deuce, forehand cross-court Alcaraz. Djokovic cross-court into the net.
Advantage Alcaraz.
Set point number 5 for a 2-1 lead for Alcaraz, just as the clock ticks over to 2 hours inside the Rod Laver Arena, the final match of the Australian Open. Perhaps the biggest match either of these two have played, given what's on the line. Set point Alcaraz, backhand cross-court return. Djokovic down the line and wide.
Third set.
And by a double break again,
Alcaraz,
as he did in the second set. Carlos Alcaraz has won the set. Lost the first to Djokovic, who started like a train, but Alcaraz has slowly been reeling him in, and he is now 1 set away from becoming just the 9th man in history and the youngest to win all 4 of the sport's major prizes.
It is definitely a train that is running out of steam. We'll see if he can dig deep and find something, Novak Djokovic, when we return here in Melbourne for the final match of the Australian Open in 2026. But while the players take a break, let's bring you the latest news headlines here on 5 Live with Bethan Holmes.
The voice of the UK.
This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
Sir Keir Starmer says Andrew Mountbatten-Windsor should testify before a US investigation into the late sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. New files released have raised further questions about the links between them. He's always strongly denied all allegations of any wrongdoing. Meanwhile, a second woman has alleged she was sent to the UK by Epstein to have sex with the former prince. Her lawyer says he was communicating with his legal team, but that stopped after his titles were removed last year. We've asked Mr Mountbatten-Windsor for comment on the latest accusations. Back here, a major incident has been declared at Southampton General Hospital following a fire. No one's been injured and the blaze has now been contained. All planned outpatient appointments today have been cancelled. And Israel has partially reopened the Rafah border between Gaza and Egypt after almost 2 years. They're allowing the limited movement of people but won't be letting any aid shipments in.
5 Live Sports.
The Six Nations.
Rugby's greatest championship returns.
What a day of the Six Nations it's been.
Live commentary of every match kicks off Thursday on 5 Live and BBC Sounds.
One of the all-time great tries. The Rugby Union Weekly podcast will be daily throughout the tournament with all the best insight and analysis from the biggest names in the game.
The Six Nations.
Listen on BBC Sounds.
The Australian Open Singles Finals on 5 Live Sports
and BBC Sounds.
Welcome back to Melbourne, the final match of the 2026 Australian Open. History will be made one way or the other, but at the moment it is leaning heavily towards the 22-year-old world number one, Carlos Alcaraz. In the break between the third and the start of the fourth set, Annabelle, the doctor was out, handing a couple of pills to Novak Djokovic.
Yeah, we actually didn't mention, I guess, that a couple of matches ago when we saw his feet, on the court, they were absolutely terrible with the blisters and everything. I mean, they've done a good job getting them taped up again and then able to come through against Sinner. But I just imagine everything is hurting right now. And I did see him, as I said, leaning over, rubbing his shins. He keeps touching his shoes. He's trying to stretch out his legs. But there's no question he is extremely weary. The last match has taken its toll. Okay, they've only been out here 2 hours. It doesn't sound a lot, but there's a lot of emotional expenditure going on as well.
Yeah, however fit and healthy he is at the age of 38, and after they played at the US Open, Carlos Alcaraz said, well, I may have won, but it was like facing someone in the body of a 25-year-old. But they had that 4-hour, 9-minute win over Jannik Sinner, Novak Djokovic. And as we said, we were told he didn't get even into bed until 6 o'clock on Saturday morning. And that does not leave an awful lot of time for recovery. Neither of them practiced at Melbourne Park yesterday. Let's see if he can dig deep, as his former coach, Goran Ivanisevic said there's no such thing as tiredness in a Grand Slam final. Backhand cross got on the ankle from Alcaraz, who will spin round and go inside, and Djokovic there with the forehand. The volley into the net off the backhand side from the Spaniard. Alcaraz and Djokovic both didn't play warm-up events. The two of them, plus Jannik Sinner, were the only three in the top 30 who didn't play a warm-up event, but there was an exhibition in Seoul between Alcaraz and Sinner. 30-15. And people were wondering how Carlos Alcaraz, as he serves down the tee, would react and perform without his long-time coach Juan Carlos Ferrero by his side.
Sitting here thinking how strange it is to see him in a Grand Slam final. You see the whole team sitting there and no Juan Carlos Ferrero. I was wondering, surely he's watching it wherever he is right now. And, Carlos put up that Instagram post, wasn't it, a social media post saying that it ended very well and great friendship still, and it gave him the sort of feeling that he could come into this Grand Slam feeling okay about everything, because I did think that would be quite tricky when you've won everything you've won with that same coach in the corner. So not an easy situation at all, and a very brave decision.
They parted ways in the off-season. It came as a shock to absolutely everybody. Juan Carlos Ferrero has done quite a lot of interviews since. He said it's been almost too painful to watch Alcaraz at the Australian Open, and he's also confirmed that he's working with a young Spanish golfer now on the mental side, mental preparations. He's doing a handful of weeks because he feels it's all a little bit raw to stay in the sport of tennis right now. So, what are the energy reserves like left of Novak Djokovic? We'll get an idea in this first game. Serves down the tee, backhand through the middle, backhand through the middle again. They're playing through the middle of the court. The slap forehand cross court from Djokovic. Rebounded down the line from Alcaraz on the stretch. The slice from the backhand, the double-handed cross court from the Spaniard. Centre of the court with the backhand from Djokovic. Through the middle goes the Spaniard. Very deep goes the serve with the forehand. Then flicks the backhand through the middle. The forehand whipped into the corner. Stretched down the line from Djokovic. Just misses and slightly pulls up at the end of that point as he leans heavily to pick up his towel from the side of the court.
Yeah, the other area that we can always look into quite closely is when a player's lunging after a ball that's out of their reach, that they know they're not quite going to get there, but they're trying to make an effort, and then you watch how their reaction is off the back of it, and you see that kind of slap with heavy legs and just pulling up. There's nothing in the legs.
Yeah, you can hear on the slap as their foot hits the ground, and there is really no spring back.
Serve down the tee, stretch of a turn, short ball, forehand cross court on the angle. The pick up off the slice on the forehand from Alcaraz, the off forehand from Djokovic, who approaches now, lets it bounce. Oh, and he overhits. He had time to get there, to get into position. He saw Alcaraz charging towards him out of the corner of his eye. He overhits, and it's love 13.
Well, that's a great defensive shot from Alcaraz, just slicing the ball low as Djokovic was coming in there. That's about the trickiest shot in tennis, that one. It's skidding, it's low. Everybody thinks it looks easy, but it's not, because you have to hit the ball hard. You haven't got much time. Skidding on, you haven't got any room
No.
Because you're inside the service box. Really, really good defensive shot. That certainly tests out the footwork.
Love 30. Love 1. Misses on the angled serve out wide. Wipes a bead of sweat away from his brow with a white sweatband on the right wrist. Pauses for a second. Takes up his position. Alcaraz is a long way back. Djokovic up with the serve. Serves down the tee. The double-handed backhand is spun through the middle of the court. The heavy off forehand from Djokovic. Keeps on the forehand and goes inside in. Back edge of the baseline from Novak Djokovic.
15-13.
Definitely the hardest forehand since the first set.
I mean, he's got to go for it now. It's all or nothing. Has to win this set to stay in with a chance of winning Australian Open title number 11 and Grand Slam singles title number 25. Trails Carlos Alcaraz by 2-1. Now love 1, 15-30. Misses down the tee. Two hours and 8 minutes on the clock. We're coming up towards 10 o'clock in the evening. Djokovic with serve, stops it short in the middle of the box. Backhand is rolled in, the backhand overhit from Djokovic, who didn't move his feet.
15-14.
Break points.
It's quite painful viewing now, isn't it?
Yeah, I know what you're saying, yeah. It's fascinating. And Novak's going for the shots, but if your feet aren't quite in the right position and you're a little tired, it's even if it looks reasonably easy, it's not.
Serve out wide, break points back to the feet of Djokovic, who swings it and switches it cross-court. The backhand, Djokovic with his forehand goes off one into the corner, leaves that one a little bit short. Another form of Djokovic, switching cross-court to the forehand that's spun down the line. Backhand cross-court, Alcaraz stretches onto the backhand at break point. It will not find the court in the first break point save.
That was a more energised point there, more clinical, better footwork around the ball, getting more into position and more balanced. But you feel like every single point is painful to him. He's having to push himself through a pain barrier right now.
Well, he's played enough matches. I'm sure he's been here before, but not at the age of 38 and a half.
Second break point opportunity for the 22-year-old, who's bouncing around like a spring chicken. Now wide leg stance, deep knee bend, springs up, serves down the tee, short ball. Djokovic should deal with it, goes back through the middle. Second break point saved.
Juice.
It's like a penalty taker. And Alcaraz was the goalkeeper. He waited for him to commit and then straight through the middle. Juice. Serve clock is down to 6 from 25. The serve out wide, snap back to his feet, off the shoelaces to Djokovic, drops it mid-court with the forehand. Now backhand, push long! And it's break point number 3.
It's too close to the ball there. Feet didn't quite get in the right spot.
Djokovic having a quick word with the box.
Did he turn around and shout at them then? I wasn't sure what he said. They've been a bit glum themselves, haven't they, in there? They're all sitting there very quietly and not much reaction from them, I think.
It's probably maybe the message. It's just, hey guys, we're just going to take it nice and easy today.
Serve out wide, mid-court ball. What does Djokovic do? He waits, but Alcaraz guesses it. The lob up. This is the Achilles heel of Djokovic to smash him out. The night skies are safe one through the middle. Djokovic with the volley into the corner. Alcaraz picks it up. It's another high ball. It's out of the air from Djokovic, and he gets it.
Just. Good couple of lobs there. Alcaraz, maybe not quite deep enough. First one was testing, and the second one was really high. Good volley from Djokovic after the smash.
He's got 8 seconds to get this ball away. They just showed Rafa Nadal's reaction.
Same as us. Ooh, that was close.
Well, he had a fantastic smash, didn't he?
Unbelievable smash. For a guy who's not a natural left-hander throwing.
Djokovic will use that cry from the crowd to give himself an extra few seconds.
Yeah.
Alcaraz has had 3 breakpoint opportunities in this second game. That's a short serve, sits up, hammered back on the forehand, back edge of the baseline, mid-cut from Djokovic, down the line from Alcaraz, pick up on the backhand from Djokovic. Alcaraz spins around, goes drop shot. Oh, clever, really clever. Djokovic about as far away as he could have been from where that drop shot landed, and a 4th opportunity to break.
Yeah, and 16 years ago he would have tried to track that drop shot down and twizzled round and been able to try and make an attempt at it, but not even a glimmer of hope to go after that one. Too painful.
The shot clock is getting lower and lower. But he gets the ball away, and it's an ace out wide, and a 4th break point in the second game of this 4th set, trailing by 2-1, is saved by the 10-time champion.
Yeah, such a relief for him just to get an ace like that, a quick, cheap, free point, not have to play a rally, not have to eat into those legs anymore. The ball bouncing is getting more intense.
Deuce. Serve out wide, the stretch, mid-court ball, Djokovic pauses it into the corner. Ooh! Outer edge of the sideline from Djokovic, bringing that ball down from around shoulder height in the middle of the court for game point.
He's picked up his serve just a tiny bit in this game. He's just finding something a little bit extra. I don't know where he's drawing upon it, because it hasn't looked like that for quite some time.
There will be a massive roar if he can hold here. Down the tee he goes, slap back through the middle, a backhand from Djokovic, clips the top of the net, back his own side, and we continue.
Great return from Alcaraz. He picked the side there, picked that tee serve that Djokovic goes to so often on the big points, got his full racket on the ball, and great return right back to the baseline. That'll test your footwork out.
Certainly will. 10 o'clock in the evening, 2 hours 14 on the clock. Deuce. Serve out wide, forehand snap back to the feet, redirected through the middle of the court with the forehand, cross court with the backhand, the slice off the backhand from Djokovic, inside in goes Alcaraz, forehand sits very deep from Djokovic, gets mid-court ball, goes backhand cross court, it comes inside out from Djokovic, very deep again from Djokovic, backhand down the line from the Serb, cross court onto the corner, the stretch, the splits, the miss from Novak Djokovic, and it's break point number 5 for the world number 1.
Advantage Alcaraz.
He's been the king of saving break points. He had now 14 break points. Alcaraz has only grabbed 4. It's almost like the same stat Sinner had. What do you got? 4 out of 18 or something like that. Only 4 out of 18. Novak's been able to come up his best serves and points on break points.
Serve down the tee, slap back very deep, push deep from Djokovic into the corner and long from Alcaraz, who just stares at that ball saying, what on earth was that?
Yeah.
It's Deuce once again, and this second game, the 4th set, is into its 11th minute. Well, if he is feeling tired, this length of game is not going to help, is it? We saw him with some heavy strapping on his right shoulder in the early rounds. 5th deuce, second game, 4th set. Alcaraz once again bouncing around, wide stance, leans over, stands up straight, ball comes down out wide. It's a lovely serve, comes back down the line, flipped in the central court for the backhand side, sits up for a backhand down the line from Alcaraz.
What a backhand. Wow.
Advantage Alcaraz.
Doesn't go down the line all the time, but he's been doing it pretty well this match, hasn't he? Just every once in a while, and then nasty shots.
Yeah. I think Djokovic looks sort of okay when the ball is central and middle. The minute Alcaraz takes it into the corners, you feel like that's the point over.
6th break point opportunity for the world number 1 to go 2-love up in the 4th, and a set that if he wins, he is the champion. Serve out wide, block back, driven out of the air. Ooh!
Another save break point.
Back behind the Spaniard to bring us back to deuce for a 6th time.
I was sitting down talking to one of the ex-players, Australian guys, Wally Masur, and I said, what do you think about the match? He goes, there's no way that Novak would get away with 4 out of 18 like he did against Sinner. And now he's 4 out of 15. I tend to agree with him. I said, yeah, Carlos isn't going to let that many slip.
Serve out wide, lovely serve, short ball, can he finish it off? Yes, he can. Back behind the Spaniard once again for game points.
Advantage, Djokovic.
Blowing out with his cheeks there after that one, and struck a beautiful forehand winner. Got the short reply and using that angled short serve out wide, forcing Alcaraz into a very defensive position. Crowd getting involved now, and that is going to feed energy into Djokovic's legs.
11 minutes 44 seconds so far for the second game of the fourth set. Game point for 1-1. Can he close it out? Serve down the tee, back through the middle of the court, the backhand down the line from Djokovic, mid-court, flip cross-court into the sideline, cross-court from Djokovic, up the line goes Alcaraz, cross-court the backhand from Djokovic, slice down line of the backhand from Alcaraz, dropped over shorter ball, steps in Alcaraz, through the middle goes Djokovic. Not sure what that was from the Spaniard, but the crowd rise to their feet. There's a smile on the face of Novak Djokovic, there's a fist pump, there's a roar, the energy is back. He has held serve. It is a game apiece after 2 hours, 18 minutes at the start, Pat, of the fourth set.
Well, you know the fight that's in this guy, you wouldn't expect anything less, would you, than him to just keep hanging in there and keep hanging in there. And, you know, he got away with the match.
Thank you.
In the semi-final, landing all those break points, saving time and time again. It's probably a bigger ask tonight, but he's giving himself a shot. 2 sets to 1 down. Stay on serve, fight like crazy. You never know what can happen. But
stretch at the back of the court.
Yeah, Alcaraz is
once again, take your seats.
Not missing many shots.
Thank
but,
you.
He knows the guy. Novak knows that Alcaraz is tired as well. He's got to be tired. So he's just sort of waiting to say, okay, well, maybe you'll make a couple of unforced errors. Your legs will get a bit heavy and you can grab the break.
It's going to be nerves at both ends of the court because they are both playing for history.
I think they're too tired for nerves. I can honestly say that. You get to the stage there in a match that you just,
Kick serve through the middle, the backhand return, the net is found, and it's love 15. Alcaraz is ready. Ball is tossed up and he slams it. We're looking to go down the tee to the forehand of the Serb. Djokovic rising from 5 to 3 in the world rankings. He'll be number 3 when the new rankings come out on Monday morning. Backhand cross-court, inside in goes Alcaraz, back edge of the baseline. Cross-court the forehand goes Djokovic. He now plays a double-handed backhand cross-court on the stretch and the splits. Cross-court with the backhand, the slice down the line of the backhand from Djokovic, who now scampers the forehand, goes cross-court. The down the line is open, but cross-court goes Alcaraz, redirected down the line from Djokovic. Plays the backhand, he misses it. He's looking for the off backhand, doesn't get it, finds the net, and it's 15-all.
Just those finishing shots. He's well and truly in the rallies, isn't Novak? There's nothing in the rallies when they're going up and down the middle and even pushing each other side to side. Just that last shot that he's been missing. He lined that one up, as you said, and went for it.
Is that just energy? Lack of energy?
Oh, look, it could be a bunch of things, but yeah, I think that's the primary reason. The footwork's not always quite there. And the slower ones, sometimes you got to have better footwork, because you've got to adjust yourself. The ones that are coming sort of hard and fast onto your racket, they're kind of easy. You just swing through. But when they're bobbling around a little bit and you have to get your feet in the right position, it's tough when you're tired.
Forehand slap back off the serve from Djokovic. Onto the sidelines goes Alcaraz, who plays the backhand down the line. Oh, side edge of the line. The lob is up from Djokovic. It will land in. The high forehand spun into the corner. Djokovic flattens out, cross-court and wide with the forehand, and it is 30-15.
Great stuff. I mean, the guy's still moving. Look at that. That was a great pickup. Actually, it looks like he's got his second wind or third wind, Novak. Or maybe his fifth wind. Moving well around the court at the moment. Just the little bits of footwork like that one there was just sort of rolled ball back from Alcaraz from behind the baseline. A finishing shot.
Took a couple of tablets, maybe that's eased some of the pain or discomfort that he was feeling to allow him to move 15. A little bit freer. Game points.
And he doesn't like to take any of those sort of things, anti-inflammatories or whatever, but I think there's a case that you should occasionally chew into a few of them. This might have been it the last couple of days.
Yeah, the feet of the ball boys scurrying to collect the loose ball and then take their position at the back of the court. A second serve on game point. The serve kicks up, the backhand floats long.
Alcaraz.
A fist pump from the Spaniard, the 22-year-old, as Djokovic does lunges all the way to his bench, and then he was slapping with his right fist, Annabelle, into his thigh and then into his chest, just below his ribcage.
I don't know whether, sometimes the legs, you start to get tightness up in that joint around the hip area, so maybe he was just banging it just to try and get blood flow into it, to try and loosen up the pain. But you can see he's in pain. I mean, it's understandable, isn't it, after what happened in that previous match, finishing so late. He's 38. He always knew it was going to be about the physical side and whether he could recover.
Yeah, I mean, it's an interesting case because Novak, you can sort of read on his face how he feels.
Yeah.
We don't tend to read too much into that, but here's a good case where everybody knows he's going to be tired, and he shouldn't be showing that to the opponent at all. I mean, this is a case, we know he is. It's the one time, and he's been keeping his emotions pretty well intact.
Yeah, he has, definitely.
But Alcaraz, after one of those long points in the last set, got to the towel and just looked down there the whole time, and then Novak was bent over.
Yeah.
I mean, that's going to give you energy.
Just knowing.
You're knowing that he's gone. Okay, I'm tired. I played the longest semi-final ever in heat. I'm tired, and I'm looking down the other end and going, well, he's more tired. That was a funny case. I remember when I played the original Super Saturday in 1994 at the US Open, and I played Lendl in 7-6 in the fifth set, and McEnroe beat Jimmy Connors 7-5 in the fifth set. And John said to me after the match, he said, I want to thank you for running Lendl in the ground. He said, I came in the locker room, and I was so tired, and I looked across the Lendl in his locker, and he couldn't bend down to get into his locker, and I went, wow. I've got him. He said, other than that, I thought Lendl was Iron Man. I thought it's no chance, but that little movement, that little thing, he went, I've got Lendl. And all 15 love. That's the difference. You just don't show your opponents.
But Djokovic does, and he always has.
He does, but this is the one time he shouldn't. Or one time he shouldn't.
I think he can't bluff it tonight.
No, he can't. 1-2, 15 love, a good 1-2 punch to kick off game number 4 of set number 4 with Carlos Alcaraz leading by 2-1.
I think all of us, as we sit here watching these matches, playing our armchair tennis, but it's so easy it's so obvious when you pick up on little tiny things like their walk in between, how they pull up after attempting shots that are out of their reach. All of these tiny little signs, it starts to build a very clear picture.
And he's doing a lot of lunge stretches at the moment.
And also, Carlos is pretty aware of, Novak playing possum, as we call it.
Serve out wide, forehand cross-court flattened out. It goes down the line, back edge to the baseline, mid-court for Djokovic to slice the backhand to the feet. Inside out with the forehand goes Alcaraz. It goes inside in this time, side edge to sideline. The lob is lifted. That comes down very high, so it's going to be smashed from the back of the court, inside of the baseline. The forehand spun cross-court, the drop shot.
Shocker.
All wrong from Carlos Alcaraz.
Isn't
the possum an Australian animal?
Yeah.
I've seen them in the trees here.
Yeah.
They look like little cats.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're quite funny.
Cuddly little things, yeah.
Fluffy things.
Yeah.
Are they dangerous?
Oh, they'll eat your arm off.
Oh, my goodness, really?
Hello?
Really?
Don't go near one. If you go back to the botanical gardens, don't go.
Well, I have seen them in the trees here. They stare at night as well.
They're not dangerous.
So down the two, back through the middle, drop shot from Djokovic. Alcaraz gets to it. He redrops and misses. That's a love hold. That'll make him feel a little bit better. Conserved some energy there. Holds to love, in contrast to his last service game that lasted 12 minutes, and it's 2 games all.
I wonder where the terminology came from, playing possum then, when it means that you look like you're tired, but you're not really. Why is that relatable to a possum?
I have no idea. I don't even know why I said that, but that's
I've heard that.
saying, yeah.
Oh, it's definitely a saying.
Yeah.
I thought you, of all people, would know that.
Yeah.
No, I don't know.
There's always a lot of sayings like that, isn't there?
Yeah.
So where did that come from? actually fascinated by those sorts of things.
Me too.
A defensive involuntary reaction when a Virginia possum falls into a catatonic death-like state when extremely frightened, often curling up, drooling, and emitting a foul odour.
Oh dear.
I don't think Djokovic is doing it.
That's Novak down to the
I don't think Djokovic is doing any of those things.
Sorry, Novak. It was a bit harsh on me. You had the definition in front of me.
Oh, my.
Oh, dear.
Oh, dearie me. Oh, we can promise you he's doing.
We don't know. We're
those
not that close to him. We don't know what sort of odour he's.
Well, there's no catatonic death states. He hasn't. He's not drooling. Oh, meantime, 15 love Alcaraz, who picks up the backhand, goes cross-court to the sideline. The stretch on the backhand from Djokovic will not find the court, and it's 30 love.
That's another lunge shot from Novak Djokovic. No footwork there at all.
You're never going to use that.
It's been a long couple of weeks, hasn't it?
Oh, my word. If we see any drooling, though, we will report that. Alcaraz serves that wide. It's an ace and it's 40 love.
He just has to keep his focus out here, Alcaraz, doesn't he? Because he'll be so aware of what's going on down the other end. He just knows he's just got to keep forging towards the finish line the way he's headed right now.
He also doesn't want to get into a tiebreaker.
No.
He wants to finish this off if possible.
Game points. Ace, couple of aces in that game. A love hold. It is 3-2 in favour. Have you got any other Aussie sayings you'd like to?
Probably Alcaraz was playing possum, wasn't he, in his last match?
Yeah.
More than anything. I mean, he was literally walking around on one leg. Why again?
Well, no, that wasn't in the description, if you'll remember. There was no.
So I think Carlos will be very aware that, he's got to finish Novak off, that, just allowing him to stay in this match. And that was a very poor return game from Alcaraz in the last one. And, they're both tired and he's going to have ups and downs. And that's, if it was Alcaraz, he'd be, his team, he'd be screaming and yelling, come on, let's fire up here. No more bad service games. Bad return games, I should say.
A reminder that Premier League Sunday with Steve Crossman will follow us here on 5 Live, featuring commentary of Manchester United against Fulham at 2 o'clock, followed by Tottenham against Manchester City at 4:30. Villa against Brentford, that's going to be on Sports Extra, and Nottingham Forest against Crystal Palace on Sports Extra 2. They are both 2 o'clock kickoffs. And if you would like to watch some live football, we have the top of the table clash between Manchester City and Chelsea in the WSL. It's live on the iPlayer and BBC One from 2:05. Right, now about Djokovic. He's had a really long hold. He's had a love hold. Where do we go from here? 2.5 hours on the clock, 10:15 in the evening, serving at 2-3 in the fourth and trailing by 2-1. Serve out wide, snap back and long.
15 love.
Well, relying very heavily on some accurate serving, which he's picked up a bit, because for a long chunk in the middle of this match, the first serve seemed to go away.
Alcaraz still keeping that fairly distant position from the baseline to return serve, holding position, steps into the backhand, crunches that, the forehand through the middle from Djokovic. Djokovic lofts that forehand, sits up, brought down, backhand down the line, backhand cross-court from Alcaraz is loose and wide, and it's 30 love. Djokovic, quick look up, starts bouncing the ball furiously with the face of his racket, and now those firm hip height bounces with the left hand, all the while looking at the ground. Quick look over, tosses the ball up, serves into the body. Game points.
Again from Alcaraz. If I was his team down there, I'd be really geeing him up, saying, come on, let's get going. I think Novak quite likes this. It's got a lull. You just sort of sneak along in the set.
into the body once again, snap back down the line. Alcaraz slices the backhand to the feet of the double-handed, scooped cross-court from Djokovic, drop shot from Alcaraz, backhand, cross-court and wide.
40-15.
I feel like this crowd are so ready to become electric again, aren't they? They're going to really get behind Djokovic. They'd love to see a fifth set. That's where things could get a little interesting if he can start to sort of bring some energy back.
Carlos flexing his leg. He's got to be tired.
Game points. That ricocheted off the top of the tape and just long. So both players back into position. Alcaraz going even further back. That wide stance, plants his feet, slight knee bend, then stands up straight, spins that forehand hit. Oh, it was awful. Missed the court by a country mile. That's a hold to 15. It is three games all now into the sort of middle meaty part, Annabelle, of this fourth set.
Well, this is where it starts to get interesting because it's do or die. His back is up against the wall here. Djokovic, he needs to try and make something happen here, doesn't he? But I feel like he's got so much experience at this situation. He's stretching out those legs once again. Just got to go hammer and tong and try and just find an extra gear.
How many points has Carlos lost on his serve in this set? Not many. One?
Seats, please, right behind the server. Thank you.
And it's when you're tired, it really is hard to return serve.
Djokovic, that deep knee bend, wide stance, plays the forehand into the middle of the court. He goes back behind Djokovic.
That's good footwork.
Great play.
15 love.
2 points that he's lost on serve. So, I mean, holding pretty comfortably.
What a reactionary shot that was as well. That return of serve was right on the baseline.
Alcaraz serves down the tee, gets a sliver of the service line. Ace is called.
Really giving Novak a look in here.
Djokovic gulping in the air, pacing from foot to foot, now takes up his return of serve stance alongside the Melbourne sign at the back of the court. It's 30 love, serve into the body, the forehand through the middle of the court, drop shot from Alcaraz. He's going to run for this, Djokovic, but it was a beautifully played drop shot.
It's the first time I've seen Djokovic take off for a drop shot that was seemingly impossible to get to, but he actually tried to track it down, which shows that legs must be feeling a tiny bit better. I guess they've had a bit of a rest, haven't they?
Oh, he just carved under that ball, drops it over. Game points for 4-3 in the fourth. Reaches up, serves out wide, backhand winner.
So floated and landed right on the line for a winner.
15.
Still a couple of game points for the Spaniard. He played 5 hours and 27 minutes against Sasha Zverev in the semi-finals. Zverev served for it, couldn't make it count. Spaniard would come through. Short ball for Alcaraz, drop shot, he goes. Here comes Djokovic, picks it up. It's not high enough. It is smashed down to the feet of Djokovic. He tried to react, he could not react. And a hold to 15 and a 4-3 on serve lead.
4 games to 3.
To Carlos Alcaraz, who, Russell, is closing in on a pretty major piece of history.
Yes, but Novak Djokovic is not going away, is he? And that's the fascinating thing after saving those 6 break points in his opening service game of the set. You're right, it looks as if this is only going to end in one result, but Novak Djokovic is on the court, and if it does go to a tie break, who knows?
Yeah,
I mean, this is the time for Carlos to really get some energy back in the legs, to make some returns, get his team to be up there and roaring, him to be jumping around and bouncing around. But after that last point, when Carlos had to stretch back, he walked to and he thought the next one might come over as well, so he had to stop and quickly skip forward. He went to the change for ends and he just shook his head as if, I am exhausted. This is a fascinating battle.
3-4 on serve, but Djokovic always coming from behind. A little bit more pressure on him. He gets broken here. Alcaraz will serve for the title.
Down, please.
Djokovic is ready. Quick look up to see if the Spaniard is there. He is. He's bouncing around. Now he's swaying from side to side, feet planted. Djokovic snaps the first serve into the net, looking to go down the tee to the backhand of the world number one.
Currently serving 78%. Really good serving from Djokovic.
Alcaraz goes even further back for the second serve. The second serve goes down the tee again. It kicks up this very deep serve. It's rolled in down the line. Drop shot Djokovic. Oh, it doesn't make it. And Alcaraz was on his way.
Love 15.
It's another sign of just wanting to not extend any kind of rally, just throw in the drop shot straight away, and a quick short point. You're either going to win it or lose it. He didn't get hold of that drop shot.
Again, the bouncing around of the Spaniard, showing his opponent he's got energy and probably trying to trick himself into feeling that he's got energy. The serve goes out wide. What a return. What a return from Alcaraz on the angle to the feet of the on-rushing Djokovic.
A little unlucky there, Djokovic. He had a great serve. Alcaraz had no idea if he was coming in or not. He just happened to hit a fantastic return across court. And Novak having served and volleyed meant that he had a real lunge. Almost no chance of getting that one back.
3-4, love 30. Serve down the tee, the pick-up, mid-court ball. What does Djokovic do? He hammers it into the corner.
Well, no holding back on that last forehand.
15-30.
He's walking a tightrope at the moment. Down love 30 on that particular point, and he went for broke into that corner with that forehand.
Good big serve too, 196 Ks.
Needs another one here. 3-4, 15-30.
Done it again.
Enormous serve.
30-all.
I think he's relaxed to the stage of almost fatigue, and he's hitting it cleanly. Timing is really good on his serve. Novak not trying too hard. Obviously, he probably has enough energy to try too hard. It's just nice and smooth, clean.
Will it be a game point or a break point? Down the tee, stretch back, mid-court ball. Djokovic hammers it into the corner, but Alcaraz reads it, cannot get the height on the ball, and from love 30, it's game point for 4-all in the fourth.
How on earth has he turned this game around like this? Now, that's the thing. You just can never rest on your laurels against Novak Djokovic. Sometimes he can find a way to just keep digging, finding another gear.
He's won 11 pressure points in this fourth set against the 5 of the Spaniard. There's another point here for 4-all into the body. The backhand is rolled in. Inside in goes Djokovic, and long.
Oh, he raises his head to the sky, and actually a little bit more animated after that point. We've hardly heard a whisker out of him all evening, but that time just yelling out something.
He's managing his energy pretty well, Novak. Still see him tearing after a drop shot.
Deuce. Alcaraz a little bit further forward. Serve down the tee. It's floated back off the back, and it will land just long.
Djokovic.
Yeah, that's that favoured serve he's gone for today. He's clearly studied a lot of the tapes of what Alcaraz prefers. Forehand's so dangerous tonight, but resorting to the chip backhand didn't make it.
Yeah, he's not doing well on the first serve returns. I mean, they're good returns, but he's getting his racket on. It's not like they're off the edge of the racket.
Game point. Down the tee again. Slap back, clips the top of the net, and that is a hole from love 30. Novak Djokovic locks us in at 4 games all. Fourth set with the Spaniard leading by 2-1.
And that's the fastest walk I've seen Djokovic do across to the towel. He's literally marched across there, and then he's hopped, skipped and jumped back towards the baseline. So that has given him a boost.
Yeah, so he's managed his energy really well here. He's going to be fired up for this game. I mean, he can't do much of Alcaraz. Hits some bomb serves and winners, but he's energising himself. Alcaraz will be doing the same thing.
Serve out wide, lovely serve. The return deep in the court. Djokovic gets back into position. He read it. He stretches to the backhand doing the splits. The drop shot is missed from Alcaraz. What defence from Novak Djokovic as he raises his arm to the crowd. He says, "Show me appreciation." And they rise to their feet and they wave their flags.
That's exactly what I thought would happen.
And a fist bump at the end of that as well. And you don't normally hear a cheer like that for an Alcaraz error.
He got it. Alcaraz's chance was really in these first few games. Now it's getting to the end. Crowd are involved. Novak's getting pumped. Carlos is going to get nervous.
Yeah, he's walked away from the line. He's trying to recompose himself here. We know he gets upset when a crowd go against him. He's quite sensitive.
4-all, love 15. Misses down the tee. A murmur from the crowd. Pressure on this second serve now. Djokovic stepping up towards the baseline. Second serve goes out wide. Djokovic for backhand to the net.
Jeepers.
Wow. So much tension on that second serve. Just lent in a little bit too much, Djokovic.
He was there to attack it, wasn't he? Yeah, wasn't much pace on it. I think slowness fooled him.
Yeah.
Just caught a little bit out in front, hitting the top of the net.
It's 5 Live with you live from Melbourne, the Australian Open men's singles final. Both men with a chance of making history as Alcaraz serves down the tee, the stretch on the back and the short ball, the drop shot. Here comes Djokovic. Can he pick it up? Yes, he can. He redrops the volley. Backhand side, court open from the Spaniard, 30-15.
Well, he has an unbelievable ability to use the entire court and all the angles at his disposal just so that he can force his opponent to run the furthest distance possible.
That was a good drop shot too, and Djokovic got to it.
Alcaraz serves out wide and misses. 4-all, 30-15. 2 hours and 44 minutes of play. 10:30 on a Sunday evening in Melbourne. Second serve goes out wide. The backhand to the feet of the Spaniard, who has to step back into that backhand through the middle. Backhand down the line from Djokovic. Djokovic opens up the forehand, slaps it down the line. Backhand blocked back, cross court. Alcaraz comes middle of the court. Inside out goes Djokovic, reads it with the backhand. Alcaraz goes into the centre of the court. The hammer blow from the forehand. Down the line goes Alcaraz. Pick up cross court goes Djokovic. Forehand cross court. Wide from Carlos Alcaraz. And Djokovic is roaring to the crowd. He wants to hear more. He is hearing more. He roars once again. He's waving his arms. And it's 4-all, 30-all.
30-all.
Unbelievable defensive stuff from both players, but particularly Djokovic, who's no longer playing possum. he's running all over the place. He's a very alive possum at the moment.
Very good. Thank you.
Both players probably not minding the crowd being noisy because it gives them a few extra seconds. Now they are both in position. Huge, huge point. 4-all, 30-all. Couple of bounces from the Spaniard. Tosses up that ball into the night sky and serves out wide. Slap back to his feet. Into the net goes Carlos Alcaraz. A roar again from Novak Djokovic. He has a point to break and serve to take us to a fifth and final set.
This is actually hard to believe and to witness, isn't it? I mean, he looked so out of it not so long ago.
It's his first breakpoint opportunity in this fourth set. Alcaraz is 0-6 in breakpoints in this fourth set.
Can you imagine?
Alcaraz serves,
the break.
Misses on the first serve, looking to go down the tee. Djokovic steps up a little bit closer towards the baseline. A point to break, to serve for the set. Alcaraz serves out wide. Djokovic with the backhand to the feet. The backhand cross-court from the Spaniard. They're going cross-court, trading double-handed backhands. Down the line is short from Alcaraz. Whip cross-court and long
So
from
short,
Djokovic.
nervy backhands from Alcaraz. Two of them barely squeaked over the net. And then Novak had the shorter forehand.
Didn't get hold of it, did he?
No. That was a real opportunity.
Yeah, he may not get another chance.
Clever,
like that.
going straight into the backhand. When it really matters, he knows that backhand is really not going to harm me. Occasionally, Carlos has ripped one, but not that many today.
No one has taken their opportunity so far in this fourth set. Juice serve down the tee, the stretch on the backhand through the middle of the court, this spinny forehand down the line from Alcaraz, who spins it cross court. What an angle!
That was a bit of luck.
Oh, I'm not sure he meant that.
No, he did not miss. It was a miss hit.
He will take it all day long because it is game point for 5-4.
It was like a shank shot, and it kind of went off at a funny angle.
It did. Yeah, completely got the end of the racket. Sort of wobbled on the bottom edge, and it hooked across court sharply. Novak throws his head down, lunging those goes. You've got to be kidding me. The miss hit drops in.
Point for 5-4. Alcaraz serves out wide, backhands in play, cross-court, scooped up, it's a short ball. Djokovic should punish this, he goes inside in, cross-court goes the Spaniard, down the other line, and long goes the serve. And now it's the roaring and the arm waving of Carlos Alcaraz, who's vamosing to the Rod Laver Arena. He saved a break point, he has held for 5-4. The pressure well and truly now back on the shoulders of Novak Djokovic, who when they resume, Pat, will be serving to stay in the final.
Wow. What a couple of games, and what a game that was. There's, that's this energy that Carlos has decided, okay, I need the energy now. But as I said, he needed that early on in this set to really finish off Novak, but just couldn't do it. Break points come and go, and as we saw in the semi-final, you get tighter and tighter and tighter when you get these break points, and you miss them. And Novak's energized. That was a great game. A surprise error from Novak on the break point there. And this is the excitement we'd hoped for.
Time.
And that Russell predicted. So it may not be the prettiest match, but it's going to be tense. Nostradamus over here to my right.
Players into position, they are at their coaching boxes end. So a quick word from Carlos Alcaraz to his team, and a lot of just sort of fist waving and we got this, we can do this. Novak Djokovic not speaking to his box, who to a man on their feet, applauding their man. Djokovic steps up to the baseline. After 2 hours, 49 minutes, he is serving at 4-5 on serve to stay in the final.
80% first serves in this set. That is absolutely extraordinary from Novak.
Tosses up that ball, serves out wide. What a serve, deep ball, flicks cross court and very deep again. Oh, long. A beautiful couple of shots off the serve, switching it wide into the corner.
Novak realised he's got the wrong racket. That was a pretty good racket, though.
I was going to say, I think I would have kept that one.
Yeah.
But he's just taken another one out, banged the strings, put it down, not happy with that one. He knew straight away from banging it. How weird to play the first point and then change rackets.
Quick apology to his opponent for the racket change. Let's see how this racket does.
It's not new balls, might be the last game before new balls. Players often change it.
First serve.
Ooh, that looked like such a good serve too.
Down the tee, curled away from the service box he was heading for. 10 minutes shy of 3 hours on the match clock. Second serve, 4-5, 15-love. Second serve goes down the tee again. The forehand is spun in. It's a short ball, heavy, cross-court, on the angle, lofted up by Alcaraz. Djokovic will let it bounce. He'll play the overhead. Oh, from the back of the court, he misses. If there's a weakness in the Djokovic game, it's the high balls, it's the overheads, and he misses for 15 all.
Such a clever lob from Carlos Alcaraz, because they all know that he's very wobbly on the smash, and that's what I call this sort of Andy Murray lob. The one that's hoisted up almost to where the roof is.
Yeah, great. And it was deep. It wasn't just high.
15 all. Carlos Alcaraz is 3 points from the title. Djokovic misses the first serve. Ball boy scurries across, scoots alongside the umpire's chair. Alcaraz a long way back, as he has been. Second serve, it's cut short, gets in, it's spun in off the backhand. Backhand cross-court approach from Djokovic. Into the net goes the Spaniard, 30-15.
I think, Pat, that's the noticeable difference with his game today, isn't it? We were marvelling at how good those second serves were against Sinner and how aggressive they were to the lines, you know, extra injection of pace. But today they have at times been very wobbly and short.
Yeah, but he's just hitting it to the backhand, and Carlos just that was a really short, nervy, topspin backhand. Just let Novak dominate the next shot. He's just going out to the backhand. He doesn't feel he's really going to damage him too much.
Serve out wide to the backhand. Game points.
40-15.
As much as he's worked on the backhand to become a good shot, you know, here we are under extreme pressure, and it's pushy, very pushy. He's trying to. That one was just a block chip. He tried to hit the one before that, dropped in the middle of the court.
Points for 5-all in the fourth. First serve will go out wide. The forehand is spun back. It's placed down the line. Djokovic comes forward. Straightforward hold in the end for Novak Djokovic. He holds to 15, and now we are well and truly at the business end of this fourth set. It is 5 games all, with Carlos Alcaraz leading by 2-1. So this a set that Djokovic must win.
I must admit, I never thought that this set would be extended like this. I really didn't think he had it in the legs. He just looked so weary after that third set. But the way he's walking, he's really picked it up. He definitely feels he has a chance to get back into this match.
I mean, the crowd are going to go bonkers if this goes to a fifth. 11th game of the fourth set.
Carlos getting a little irritated with the crowd, isn't he? Just had to walk away from the baseline, turned his back on it all and restarted his build-up to the serve.
Here he goes. Misses down the tee. Loses control of his ball, regains it, bounces it with the left hand. Everyone is set. Djokovic up at the baseline, plays the off backhand on the return. Down the line goes Alcaraz, the backhand.
That's a great forehand second
made.
shot.
15 love.
That was a good forehand, good return into the forehand side of Alcaraz. He just sort of stays on the baseline and just swipes at it. And that went straight down the line.
Ball girls come forward to collect the discarded Alcaraz balls. He's bouncing it away. Serves down the tee.
30 love.
Found. Djokovic can't believe he didn't get more on that serve, and it's 30 love.
Yeah, he's frustrated at missing that one. And just needed that extra step with the footwork. I think it's probably one of the calmest composures I've ever seen from Novak Djokovic in a match.
30 love, net found. Serve down the tee, the backhand is played down the line, the backhand is bunted through the middle of the off backhand from Djokovic. The forehand spun cross-court from Alcaraz, who settles for a backhand cross-court to the backhand for Djokovic down the line. Forehand back up the line, but it's long.
$30-15.
Djokovic doing some little backward lunges. 5 minutes shy of 3 hours on court. Djokovic now bouncing around. Wide stance, slight knee bend. He's very upright in his return of serve. 30-15. Alcaraz slams it out wide. The backhand has got back inside in from Alcaraz. The stretch on the forehand. Lovely use of the court off the wide serve from the Spaniard.
40-15.
Moved well to that one, didn't he? And the dip of energy of both players, early part and the middle part of this set is just gone. They're both really energized. Adrenaline.
Game points for 6-5. Serve out wide, block back, inside out forehand. The slice off the backhand from Djokovic, cross court, inside out forehand. Djokovic doesn't move, it's back behind the serve. And Carlos Alcaraz guarantees himself at least a tiebreak in this fourth set, leading as he does by 6 games to 5. Ross, it's incredible the ebbs and flows that we've seen when you think how much tennis is in the legs, primarily from their respective semi-finals.
5 hours and 27 minutes in the Alcaraz legs, 4 hours and 5 minutes in the legs of 38-year-old Djokovic, and he had the disadvantage of finishing at 1:30 in the morning. But Alcaraz had the disadvantage of playing in 30-degree heat and quite high levels of humidity. A tie-break looks quite likely given the way they've both been serving in this set, but we shall see. And if it is to be Alcaraz in the next 5 or 10 minutes, then he's going to do something that is very rare in tennis, this career Grand Slam. If you look at the people who've done it in the 21st century, Federer, Nadal and Djokovic, Serena Williams and Maria Sharapova are the 5. And of those 5, Serena Williams the only one to win the final piece of the jigsaw here in Melbourne when she beat Sister Venus in 2003.
History on the line. And Novak Djokovic serving to keep his slice of history alive at 5-6 in the 4th as we head towards 3 hours of match play.
Players are ready, thank you.
Playing to take us into a tie-break, 5-6. Alcaraz bounces himself and Djokovic bounces the ball. Djokovic misses down the tee, heading towards the backhand of the world number 1. Djokovic will rise to 3 in the world rankings when the new ones come out on Monday morning. Second serve goes down the tee again. The backhand's through the middle of the court. The backhand cross-court from Djokovic. Cross-court the backhand from Alcaraz. Lovely deep backhand from Djokovic. Gets himself a mid-court ball. Hammers the forehand into the forehand wing again of Alcaraz. Alcaraz the forehand spins it down the line. Djokovic backhand goes cross-court. The pick-up on the slice from Alcaraz. Mid-court ball. Backhand cross-court. Alcaraz picks it up. Goes centre of the court. Backhand cross-court deeper from Djokovic. Down the line goes Alcaraz. Squash shot cross-court mid-court. The pick-up slice forehand from Alcaraz. Alcaraz with backhand through the middle. Djokovic goes inside out with the forehand. The backhand down the line from Alcaraz. Forehand cross-court from Djokovic. Forehand down the line from Alcaraz. Backhand into the net from Novak Djokovic.
What a point! Oh, that was a lung buster of a point.
24 shots.
Oh, absolutely brutal. It's bent over double on the towel box there.
You know what? Novak usually comes out the winner in these, doesn't it?
That's going to hurt mentally, isn't it, that point? I was surprised he went into the forehand as much as he did, but then he was trying to open up into the backhand, wasn't he?
Okay.
Once again, ladies and gentlemen, do not call out during the point. I know you get excited, but please don't call out during the point. Thank you. Please, ready for play.
Quite like his manner.
5-6, love 15. Alcaraz 3 points from the title. Djokovic with the serve. Thunders off the top of the tape and wide. Ball boy scurries back into position at the side of the net. Alcaraz still keeping that deep position in the court off this second serve. He'll hold that position. The serve will kick up to the backhand cross-court. Djokovic approaches with the backhand volley, tries to pass him. Djokovic, oh wow!
Wow! Second serve and volley. How brave was that? We saw that against Sinner, and he's done it again here.
I don't think he's won a serve volley point, has he, today? But to do it then. Great, good, nice backhand volley. Just leant forward, punched it into the corner and tucked away the next one.
15 all, 5-6. 3 hours of match play. First serve collapses into the first serve. Looking again to go down the tee to the backhand. Djokovic ready now. Serves out wide. The forehand is spun back in mid. Oh, Djokovic doesn't catch it. He gets that all wrong. And Carlos Alcaraz is 2 points from being crowned champion in Australia.
It almost went so silent before he got that ball into play. There was just so much pressure riding on that moment, and caught that very, very late on the forehand.
Something went wrong there. It's like his grip slipped or something.
Thank you.
Could wipe his hands quickly.
Would so dearly love a first serve now. 5-6, 15-30. Alcaraz has stepped forward with the backhand return. It's into the net. He was down on one knee as he struck that ball. It strikes the net. And after 3 hours and 1 minute of play, 2 championship points for the smiling 22-year-old world number 1 to write his name into the history books. 5-6, 15-40, championship point. Djokovic with the serve, smashes it into the net, looking to go out wide. A second serve for the Spaniard to look at, a championship point. Djokovic with the serve, goes down the tee, the backhand is rolled in through the middle of the court, the forehand off, and he's missed it! Carlos Alcaraz is the champion in Melbourne.
6-2, 6-3, 7-5.
And becomes the youngest man in the history of the sport to complete the career Grand Slam. Just 22 years of age, an embrace from the players. Carlos Alcaraz in his first Australian Open final is the champion. Winning through against Novak Djokovic. And now he will take the applause of the crowd. It's the title he wanted to win. He would have sacrificed all the others this year to make this dream come true, to write his name in the history books, and he has done just that.
It's an incredible scene to witness, isn't it? Very special to have been here to see this piece of history from such an exceptional talent. Such a wonderful performance, to be honest, after what they've both put themselves through. I thought it was a brilliant contest. It had its moments, ups and downs. It wasn't always the highest quality, but it certainly had us on the edge of our seats at times. You know, certainly when you think back to that break point at 4-4 when Novak Djokovic almost could have been serving for the fourth set. It certainly had an extra injection of excitement into the match, but to see someone so young doing what he's achieving right now in the sport, it's what a privilege to be here and witness it.
He's currently having a cuddle with his team. He's just hugged his dad. They're sitting in the upper stands. He's already embraced the coaches and the coaching pod of the court, remembering this is his first tournament without his long-time coach, Juan Carlos Ferrero. How's he going to do? The answer, very well. He is the champion in Melbourne.
22 years of age, a 7th Grand Slam title, and that career Grand Slam secured. Younger than Fred Perry and Don Budge in the 1930s, younger than Rod Laver and Roy Emerson in the 1960s, younger than Andre Agassi at the turn of the century, and younger even than the great Federer, Nadal and Novak Djokovic, who with that victory over Yannick Sinner on Friday will give us something that will also help us remember this tournament by. But it's Alcaraz on top of the world again.
And Pat, they're already engraving the world number 1's name onto the Norman Brooks trophy that he will shortly be holding aloft.
Yes, and Norman Brooks is really the father of Australian international tennis. He was a Wimbledon champion, a couple of times Australian champion, early 1900s. He bought the land at Kooyong, said Australia needed a club like the All England club. It's a great honour to be on that trophy. I didn't quite get my hands on it, but you know, to win all 4 at this age is quite phenomenal. And you know, there's so much tension in that match. We didn't know exactly how it would go, the bodies, and certainly the way that Djokovic, I mean, after the first set, we all looked at each other and go, wow, could he actually win in straight sets? Yeah. I mean, he was playing that well. And Alcaraz, like he did at Wimbledon final, lost the first set to Djokovic easily, regrouped, and Novak looked very tired, didn't he, for the second and third sets. And I think just the age has caught up with him a little bit, but that last set was something very, very special. And Alcaraz, from that, after that first set, barely missed a ball. I mean, he really did a very, very few unforced errors, forced Novak to play his best tennis, serve his best to stay in the match. And just that last game, a couple of errors, but Novak, as Novak does, just kept fighting and fighting and fighting and fighting. It was a very special ending, and you know, well done to both players who really, you know, both had their share of luck. You need a bit of luck to win a Grand Slam title. There's no doubts about that. And boy, did they have the luck, both of them. But you know, Carlos coming back from that injury, cramp, whatever it happened to be, that's a fantastic performance. And he looked fresh. He looked like he could go another set, didn't he?
Yeah, he did.
To be honest, so did Novak, but Novak was about up and down naturally for somebody his age.
Alex Zverev served for a place in the final, didn't he? In that fifth set of the semi-final, leading by 5 games to 3. How different history may have been.
Yeah.
Had he held serve there.
Just 22 years of age, the Spaniard Carlos Alcaraz. He is the world #1. That's his 25th career title, and it's his 7th Grand Slam title.
Yeah, it's incredible. And when you think that him and Sinner have split so many of the Grand Slams in the last couple of years, but now he's just extended his lead over Jannik Sinner, his biggest rival, who has 4 still. So he would have to win all of the ones remaining to play this year to be able to equal him. And that's a big ask, isn't it?
He's the youngest of 7 on the men's side. He's just ahead of Bjorn Borg, but Borg had packed up by his mid-20s, and given the longevity in the sport now, I mean, there's a lot that can go wrong. But if you can win 7 by 22, Pat, it does beg the question, is Novak Djokovic and Margaret Court's record of 24 potentially in danger one day? It's not impossible, is it?
No. And, Novak playing like he did the other night, he's got to say he's always a danger. Obviously having a couple of short matches, 2 defaults, helped him to revitalise and energise himself for that semi-final. And just the emotion of that semi-final, it was always going to be a huge ask for Novak to come back and be emotionally stable the whole match. And there wasn't an awful lot in this match. It was pretty tight. But yeah, there's Novak aside for the odd great match. Who else is challenging these two? And there's a lot of Grand Slams for these two. And at the moment, Carlos has gone ahead, and I think he's a slightly better player. But I'll tell you what, Sinner's going to be motivated. Nothing like having a couple of bad Grand Slams that will motivate you to get back out there on the practice court and work harder.
That was a nice moment. Samuel Lopez, the coach of Carlos Alcaraz, who will come and receive a token of their appreciation to honour the coaches, just walked over to Novak Djokovic, and they had a hug, and Djokovic stood up and exchanged a few words. Everybody is in place. They're actually got their arms around each other, Carlos Alcaraz and Novak Djokovic. We've got the dignitaries in place on the stage. Everyone is being told exactly where to stand, and very shortly you will hear Todd Woodbridge, who's going to be your master of ceremonies for the trophy ceremony.
Wominjika and welcome. Before we begin tonight, I'd like to acknowledge the Wurundjeri people of the Kulin Nation, the traditional owners of the land on which we gather tonight, and pay my respects to their elders past and present. I extend that respect to the Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people here this evening. And on behalf of Tennis Australia, I'd like to welcome the Victorian Governor, Her Excellency, the Honourable Professor Margaret Gardner, and thank all of our partners, especially Kia, the Victorian Government, and all of the official workforce and ball kids. There have been an incredible 3 weeks of tennis here at Melbourne Park, with more than 1 million people coming through the grounds, an incredible attendance. And of course, you can throw in the billions that have been watching around the world as well. What a great success the tournament has been. And joining us tonight for the presentations of the Chair of Tennis Australia, Chris Harrop. Chris, congratulations on your first very successful Australian Open. The Chief Executive Officer for Kia Australia is Damien Meredith. The Tournament Director, Craig Tiley. The Tournament Referee, Wayne McEwen. And our Chair Umpire, John Blom. But we have a very special man out on court with us, and to present our trophy here this evening, celebrating the 50th anniversary of his Australian Open title. Would you please put your hands together for Mark Edmondson. And now, would you please welcome the AO 2026 top ball boy, Jackson Chapinel, with the Norman Brooks Challenge Cup.
He's taking it out of its Louis Vuitton case very carefully, wearing white gloves, definitely designed for someone slightly bigger than him.
At least 3 sizes too big.
Around Victoria over the last several weeks with our AO on the road team, and is now safely right back here on Rod Laver Arena. And time now to invite our Chief Executive Officer for Kia Australia, Damien Meredith, to say a few words.
Thanks so much, Todd. It's been a real privilege to watch tonight's match. It's just been a sensational game, played in great spirit. And at Kia, we believe in movement that inspires. And tonight, we saw that come to life on court with extraordinary play. I want to commend both Carlos and Novak on tonight's game and also the last 2 weeks. Congratulations, gentlemen. To Chris, Craig and everyone at Tennis Australia, the Australian Open is the gold standard for global sport. It's an absolute privilege to be involved in it, and thank you so much for a great job you've done. The Kia journey began 80 years ago, and it's remarkable to reflect that for nearly a third of our company's history, we have been the proud partner of the Australian Open. From humble beginnings, we have grown together into 2 world-renowned brands.
Well, these are legendary, these sponsor speeches as part of the ceremony. They give the car sponsor a big spot ahead of after the men's final. They don't get a chance to speak after the women's final, and there have been some classic moments over the years.
This is a new Mr. Kia.
It is.
We had another.
We do miss the former Mr. Kia, who was quite a character, but he is no longer. He's hopefully still with us, but he's no longer actually giving the address before the champion gets their hands on the trophy.
The new Mr. Kia is giving us the 80-year history of Kia, and he's very well. I've heard him at another couple of trophy ceremonies. He also gave a little speech at the men's doubles that was won by Neil Skupski, the Brit, alongside his partner Christian Harrison. Thank you very much, Mr. Kia, for the history of Kia.
25 fantastic years here at the Open, and I'd also like to welcome and say thank you to Chairman Chung of the Hyundai Motor Group, who is also with us here tonight. Thank you.
But we're not going to have the history of Hyundai.
And now I'd like to ask the chair umpire for our men's singles final, John Blom from Australia. Well done, John, to come forward and collect your trophy from our referee, Wayne McEwen.
I think, as Annabelle said, we thoroughly enjoyed John Blom's performance. Handled it with aplomb. And he has a silver salver.
Congratulations, John, on another fine performance. But when you talk about fine performances, well, a champion whose name is forever woven into the fabric of this tournament. His excellence, longevity and relentless pursuit of greatness continue to set the standard for generations to follow. Once again this fortnight, he has shown us why this arena has been such a defining stage in his remarkable career. Please congratulate our finalist, Novak Djokovic.
The 10-time Australian Open champion, 24-time Grand Slam singles champion in his 38th Grand Slam final, greets the presentation party on the stage, accepts his runner-up plate and will now speak to the crowd.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. First and foremost, of course, congratulations, Carlos. An amazing tournament, amazing couple of weeks. To your coach, to your family, to your team. What you've been doing, it's, I think the best word to describe it is historic, legendary. So congratulations, and I wish you best of luck.
for the rest of your career. I mean, you're so young, you have a lot of time, like myself. So I'm sure we'll be seeing each other many more times in the next 10 years, yeah. Well, then I have to obviously thank my team for enduring me, first of all, and for giving me support. It hasn't been, smooth sailing, as it never is. But you guys are my rock in my corner, and you've seen the worst and the best of me in the last who knows how many years, but particularly last 3 weeks. So I want to thank you, and this success is your success, of course. Then I want to speak to the legendary Rafa, who is on the stands. Just few words. Obviously, it feels very weird to see you there and not here, you know? But I just want to say it's been an honor to share the court with you and to have you watching the finals here. It's first time for me, and, obviously a bit of a strange feeling, but thank you for being present. Too many Spanish legends. It felt like I was against 2 against 1 tonight. It wasn't fair, but okay. I had a winning speech prepared and a losing speech prepared. So let me go back to it 1 second. Okay. No, I want to keep it short. This is Carlos's moment. Jokes aside, I want to just say, in the end, that you guys, particularly the last couple of matches, gave me something that I have never experienced in Australia, that much love, support, positivity. It's been incredible. I try to give you back with good tennis over the years. This has been my, I think, 21st year, maybe 22nd year coming to Australia. Honestly, I always believe in myself, and I think that is something that is, truly needed and necessary when you're playing at this level against incredible players like Carlos and Yannick, obviously last 3 days. But I must be very honest and say that I didn't, think that I would be standing in a closing ceremony of a Grand Slam once again. So I think I owe you the gratitude as well for pushing me forward throughout the last couple of weeks. And God knows what happens tomorrow, let alone in 6 months or 12 months. So it has been a great ride. I love you guys.
Congratulations once again, Novak, and thank you for what you've done here at Melbourne Park. Now, Novak mentioned coaches, and they are an integral part of our game, and I call upon Samuel Lopez, the coach of our champion, to come forward and collect his trophy from Mark Edmondson.
Now, Samuel Lopez was part of the team last year alongside Juan Carlos Ferrero, and when Carlos Alcaraz parted company with Juan Carlos Ferrero, it was always said that his brother Alvaro would take on a bigger role, but Samuel Lopez would stay as the primary coach.
And so, at just 22, he has already redefined what is possible in our sport, with his athleticism, fearless creativity, and a joy for competition. And he is now the youngest man to complete the career Grand Slam. And so keep that welcome coming as we congratulate the Australian Open Men's Singles Champion for 2026, Carlos Alcaraz.
He makes his way up onto the stage, a 7th Grand Slam title from an 8th Grand Slam final and a first in Australia. He has handed Norman Brooks Challenge Cup. And he raises it to all 4 corners of the Rod Laver Arena. Your champion in Melbourne, Carlos Alcaraz.
Well, it's wow. I mean, obviously, first of all, I just wanted to talk about Novak. I think you know, he deserves an ovation for sure. What you're talking about? You're talking about how I'm doing the things and amazing things, but what you're doing is really inspiring. No, not for only the players, the tennis players, but the athlete, all the person around the world. For me as well. Just putting the right work, you know, hard work every day with your team, every tournament you go. And playing such a great tennis for me, I just enjoy so much watching you play. For me, it's been an honor sharing the locker, sharing the court, and as I said, watching you play. So thank you very much for what you're doing, because as I said, it's really inspiring. It's really inspiring to me. My team over there in that you know, in that corner, it's I think nobody knows how hard I've been working, you know, in the, you know, to get this trophy. I just chased this moment, you know, so much, you know, appreciation that it was a little bit roller coaster emotionally, and we went through not hearing anything about what the people were saying before coming to Australia, and we just did the right work. You know, you were pushing me every day to do all the right things. So I gotta say, I'm just really grateful for everyone I have in the corner right now. And then just as I said, this trophy is always is always yours. Then I'm gonna keep going. Like yeah, for me it's a little bit, as Djokovic said, a little bit weird, you know, seeing Rafa, you know, in the stands. So it's the first, I think the first time, if I'm not wrong, professional, because I know you were watching me when I was like 15, 14 years old. So it's been a long time. But yeah, for me it's such an honor playing in front of you. We had great battles on the court, not too many, but for me it was an honor sharing the court, practicing, playing matches in the locker, and now seeing you watching my matches. For me, it's just a privilege, and thank you very much for being here. And then, you know, everyone who made this tournament possible. As I said many times, I think this tournament is it's a great tournament for the players. I think the side here is amazing. Every year making upgrades to make us, you know, feel comfortable. So I just appreciate and really grateful for everything you're doing, you know, for us. Just really happy to come, you know, every year. So it's an honor to playing here in Melbourne every year, and I think that privilege is because you know, the love that I'm receiving every year that I come. It's a great support, a great love, not only in the matches, but every time that I step on the court for the practices, I just felt the love from the people. So I just want to say thank you very much for pushing me in the top. pushing me in the tough moments during the matches. So all I can say is thank you very much, and I can't wait to come back next year. Thank you.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that concludes what has been a sensational final and a sensational Australian Open for 2026. There'll be a photo opportunity, and then Carlos will take the trophy around the court. But we thank you very much for your support of the Australian Open. And one more time for these two amazing champions, because we've witnessed history here tonight.
So a round of applause from all four corners of the Rod Laver Arena. Another little cuddle between Carlos Alcaraz and Novak Djokovic. And before we go, Russell, Pat and Annabelle, just a word on both Carlos Alcaraz and Novak Djokovic.
Well, I think it's very clear and evident from what we just witnessed even in that presentation ceremony how much they actually quite adore each other. I mean, they were hugging each other. They almost couldn't let go of each other just before they were called up onto the stage. And I think that the words from Carlos Alcaraz, he really meant it. He really has looked up to him. He's been inspired by him. And I think most of the players on the tour would say that. But it is quite extraordinary what we've witnessed today. I never thought we'd see Novak Djokovic in another Grand Slam final. And I was actually quite glad to hear him say it himself, because I think he has surprised everybody. I mean, it's just astounding. But I think also there was just a little hint, wasn't there? He said something about, we don't know what the next 6 months hold, the next year. Was that a little way of saying, I'm not sure if I'll be back? I don't know. I mean, you just never know. But, you know, it's evident that you know, Sinner and Alcaraz are kind of like the future going forward. It's for the rest of the team, the players on the tour to chase them down. Amazing he got past one of them, but as he said all along, it was going to be very difficult to get past two. But a quick word on Alcaraz, just incredible what he's achieving. I mean, I just think the world is his oyster. He's just so likeable, isn't he? So charming, and the tennis is just breathtaking.
Yeah, I mean, Novak is inspirational, isn't he? I mean, you can't emphasise that more, that for him to come out and play the way he did in the semi-final. Sure, he had a bit of luck and was fresh coming into that semi-final. And both players were hurting today. They had to push each other, or had to push themselves, you know, to the absolute limits. But Alcaraz, I mean, he didn't look tired at all for the whole match. I mean, that's something special. He's incredibly fast and can produce amazing tennis on all surfaces. He's an absolutely complete player, and the youngest that I've ever seen to be a complete player, and it's proven by winning all 4 Grand Slams.
At the age of just 22. I don't think the big final defeats hurt Novak Djokovic in the way they used to, because he has just achieved everything anybody could expect to achieve. And I think we saw a sign of that in the presentation and his speech, which was very generous. And as Annabelle said, he's had a lot of smile on his face. He's been hugging Carlos Alcaraz regularly. I'm sure clearly he gave that final absolutely everything. No stone will be left unturned between coming off the court at 1:30 on Saturday morning and walking out here today. But to beat Sinner and Alcaraz back-to-back over 5 sets is nigh on impossible 3 months shy of your 39th birthday, but he gave it absolutely everything. And now we just wonder what will happen at Roland Garros, I suppose. That's Sinner and Alcaraz winning 9 Grand Slams in a row between them. So who's going to step up in Paris in May?
History was made in Melbourne this evening. Pat Cash, Annabelle Croft, Russell Flith, thank you very much. It was a lot of fun.
Thank you. That was so much fun.
15 days at the Australian Open have come to a close, and thank you so much for being with us this morning, everyone that was listening. Now, our post-final analysis, together with maybe finding out what possums exactly do, that's going to be available a little later on our All About Australian Open podcast, which has been a lot of fun to do over the course of a couple of weeks. Available on all podcast platforms. Your easiest way to find it is by searching tennis on BBC Sounds. So goodbye from all of us here in Melbourne, but up next on 5 Live, it is time for Premier League Sunday with Steve Crossman. That's coming up after the news with Bethan Holmes.
The voice of the UK.
This is BBC Radio 5 Live.